God.
And he's like telling the story, and he's like, and I realized that I was that cat, or something like that.
Funny,
And I was,
it was funny, though, when we lifted it up, the cat was dead.
Yeah.
I guess that's not funny.
Yeah,
it was just, we were all sitting looking at each other going, okay.
I felt the spirit of this cat enter my body, and then I started licking my own butthole.
Anyway, this is Glorified G.
Yeah.
It's this really arty, weird, long story, and here's daughter.
I was walking across the parking lot, and this nun came after me.
Oh, my God.
With the smelliest foot.
Smell my clubbed foot.
She asked me to smell her club foot. And I said, well, what club does it belong to?
Yes, sir.
The spirit of the cat gave me that joke. It was a dead cat. It wasn't not intrinsically funny.
Right. Just the story itself.
That a cat would scrape up that story.
That's crazy. Wow. Very interesting. Well, Pearl Jam is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And in a little while, we're going to have Greg Harris, the CEO of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, to talk about the inductions and so on. So that's at 9 o'clock. We just have a few minutes to play with. So, Steve, I'm going to kind of switch gears a little bit.
Sure.
So we spend a little bit more time talking about something else. But you had said something.
What do you got in mind?
You had said something that triggered me to pull out this particular story. This was a research that was done, and Gen Z is ditching old school terms of endearment like darling and sweetie.
Yeah.
One of them on the list that is considered outdated, you said chick. And that is actually the pet name that Gen Z daters considered the most outdated word is chick.
I think that really is of a time.
Yeah.
I rarely hear people throw off the word chick unless they're kind of doing a riff or a parody of somebody.
Okay.
I had a teacher. I'm sorry, Kathy. Just real quick. I had a teacher in high school that hated that term. She thought she found
Chick?
it really. Yeah, she found
Demeaning?
it like demeaning and offensive, and we weren't even allowed to say it in class, let alone write it on a paper.
You wouldn't even say chicken; it'd just be in.
I use sweetie as to piss someone off. Oh,
thanks, sweetie.
thanks, sweetie.
Yeah.
That's like bless your heart.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So they are still calling their love interests and crushes something besides their actual names to express their feelings of fondness. And you know what tops the list?
What?
You'll never guess.
Oh boy,
Bro.
bro, for a girlfriend or a boyfriend?
I don't really know. It says that it says calling their love interests and crushes bro.
Is what? That's good?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
what they're using now.
I'm
as sort
over
of
that. I'm so over that already.
Bro is like, I was telling Casey, man, it was a couple of weeks ago, and you probably saw this news story. It was in Florida. This kid's out fishing, and this guy pulls up in another boat, and he starts bitching at him about something that happened the day before. And the kid, while none of this was his fault, and the other guy ended up going to jail for it, the kid is trying to explain to him that, hey, that wasn't me. And when I say that every single sentence he uttered ended with the word bro, it is not an exaggeration.
He was in a bro flurry.
Yeah.
And that's I hear that more and more from people. The bro usage is on high now.
Yeah, and which is wild because bro has been around for
Forever.
a long time.
It's just wrapping back around.
It is, I guess
That's
so.
what I named that dead cat under the side. I figured he should have had a name, and I didn't know, and I just thought it was kind of sad.
What's up, bro?
Hey, bro, how is it there under the side?
So, bro is the number one term of affection, followed by bestie and friend, and it's talking about your significant other.
So I'm still sweetie. I will still I'll still get baby. And back and forth. I get honkles, which is we were joking around one time, and it was a misstatement.
Oh, that's
of
a
something.
jokey made up thing.
And so but I mean,
So-
in the classic realm, sweetie, sweetheart.
With the term friend, I find interesting. Nick had I was looking for a show to watch while I was exercising, and Nick had recommended John Adams. There's a lot of ties to Philadelphia, and I loved it. It was great. And
We did a country to say, bro.
when John Adams, when his wife Abigail passed away, or he's there with her, and his ultimate term of endearment for her was friend, my friend.
Oh, all right.
And I was like, you know what? I kind of like that. And I know what friend means in the sense that we usually use it in, but I mean, like Rochelle is my greatest friend.
Sure. But if you're on the deathbed and friend?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come again?
Yeah.
I've been calling people friend. That's like my go-to these days. Like if let's say I'm going to like a checkout at a store.
Thank you, friend.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay.
friend, how you doing?
You're not my friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
I default to it a lot as well, Case.
Yeah.
And I'll say, hi, my friend.
Yeah.
Hi. And I find, and I mean it. Of course, you have to be sincere about it.
Right.
Not just casting it off.
By the way, Casey and Ryan Shuttleworth have this little ritual they do. Are you guys aware of this?
Is it the high five thing?
No, it's not the high five.
Like a singing thing.
They do. So Ryan comes in here at the end of the show to grab our commercial log before he heads into produce Pierre's show. And we can do this, Casey.
Oh, he's here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ryan,
And
coming in.
It's the first time we see each other in the day.
Okay, so don't look at him yet.
Okay.
All right, don't look at him. And Ryan, I'm going to put you on this mic, and I now want you to look at each other. Friend! They do it every day. It's the first thing they say to each other. And sometimes you like try to harmonize.
Yeah, or like,
want to go high and want to go low.
Whatever the mood fits for that day. We just find it, whatever it is.
Yeah. And how did that start?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It's just one day it just happened, and we're like, yeah, this feels right.
That's our thing. That's our thing. Now.
You also do something with Pierre. It's funny. So as you're walking out, it's like a high five.
So because we're in the 4J studio,
Right.
and they broadcast in 4K studio, so I have to switch things over. So once I've switched over to and make the 4K studio live, we high five, and that's us passing the baton.
Oh, okay.
You came in to
Yeah.
do it, and he was in conversation with me, and you had walked out of the room, and he ghost-fived like nothing because he thought you were still there. And I was like, oh, I guess that's a ritual.
So I do a right high five with Ryan, and then a left high five with Pierre, and then I don't have any more responsibilities.
Speaking of the high fives and that, my very good friend Jim and I, we never get it right. We it's awkward every single time when we either try to shake hand, fist bump, high five. You've done that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yesterday we're playing golf. And it's ritualistic at the end of the round. You take off your hat and you shake hands.
Yep.
And Jim and I are close friends, so we give each other a little hug. Well, I went in for the hug. He went in for the shaking hand, and he hit me in the mouth.
Stop it.
His finger actually went in my mouth. So I think
That was a great round.
that should be our I should suck on his finger.
Yeah.
Well, that's like
As our greeting now.
me and Brent Porsche. We have a way when we say hello to each other. It's
Oh my God,
it's a
that
whole
one's
thing.
even better.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one,
No.
Kathy?
Brent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have this. They have your own handshake.
foot tap, a handshake.
There's a foot tap, and then a handshake. But then it ends with him and I touching pointer finger and thumb together, and that started because I I wanted him to hand me a piece of paper, so I had my hands out like this. And he didn't understand that I had my hands out to get the piece of paper. So he just touched my finger and thumb. And now that's the way we say hello to each other.
Many of these are born of awkwardness.
Yeah.
And by the way,
I love custom greetings like
Yes.
that.
whoever invented the fist pump needs to be shot in the face because it has ruined handshakes for the rest of eternity.
I love a
no, I want a
nice,
fist bump.
hearty, real handshake.
Yeah.
I also love the Beastmaster handshake.
That is really
That's
good.
a real, forearm.
Yeah.
Boom.
And
I can talk to animals.
Just got a text message from Pancake. Pancake, he and I were the ones that started the high five, and that has continued, Pancake. I just want you to know that
Oh.
your spirit lives on in
Yeah.
high fives every single day.
Every
Always.
time Pancake would see me, and when I would leave every day, he would always say, speaking of Eddie Vedder, actually, he'd always say, to Nick. And it was a greeting and a goodbye, and I miss that about Pancake. It was a nice way to end my day when I was walking out.
Miss Pancake, period. All right, so the pet names that
I miss
Jen...
Pancake too.
I'm glad you were part
In
of this.
fact, Preston, can I change the name of that dead cat under the sod from Bro to Pancake?
Wow. What an honor.
You're Eddie Vedder. You can do whatever you want, man.
Thank you, man.
Okay. So Bay is another top choice for your significant other, as is Queen, King. Okay, now this is showing my age. I don't know what the word is. Shawty?
Oh, Shorty?
Yeah, like
Short-
like shorty, but shoddy.
Shawty.
Shoddy to me would be like something that
Oh.
was rickety or cheap. It's shoddy.
No. It's like taking Shorty and just making it sound
Okay.
a little bit different.
Got it. Shawty. And then listen to this one, and here's a surprise. Sugar Plum.
Sugar plum is an old Southern.
Very much
Yeah.
so.
Hey, Sugar Plum.
My little sugar
Where
plum.
you going with that dead sod cat?
And how about this one? Here's another one. Day one.
Oh, I get it.
That's almost like a ride or die kind of a thing.
Like we've been
together
us
since
day one.
day one.
It's been us.
She's my day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard that?
No.
That's a
Sugar
new one to
Plum.
me.
Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy.
Yep.
So the dated, and we have to take a break here in just a moment. The dated terms, according to Gen Zers, are, like I said, chick, sugar, hun, muffin, bubba.
I think muffin would probably not go over well.
No, but you call muffin top.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
all
My
good.
little
I say muffin. And it's funny that sugar is dated, but sugar plum is in.
Right?
That doesn't make
Stupid.
sense.
Then you have pet, my little pet, babe.
My little dead sod cat.
Babe was a big one when I was a teenager. Darling, angel, and love.
Babe, I love you.
So, yep.
Those were on the way out, or those were still?
Yeah, they're considered dated by Gen Zers.
So the queen and that sort of thing, not everyone is a queen, right? So,
Yeah.
yes, queen, yeah.
Slay queen.
Slay
Hey.
queen.
So, yeah, these I was just, I found some of these interesting.
I found that I think probably social media has prompted the turnover of these phrases much quicker than they used to turn, you know?
Possibly.
So, because it would take longer for them to get out into the public discourse or mainstream. And then, but now every couple of days, there's a new phrase coming down.
Do you know how the fire emoji became a thing?
No.
So I would write in a text, Preston. I think Preston is really hot.
Yeah.
And you would then hit the emoji button, and hot would come up as the fire. Because it would just the emoji. Can automatically replace a word within something that you've already texted. So people started doing that by accident. And it just became a thing that it was like, oh, Preston is fire, Preston is hot. Now
Dead sod
people,
cat is fire.
but then it became Preston is fire. It just sort of, that language evolved from Preston being hot to the emoji to Preston being fire.
The truncating of the-
essentially a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the truncating of the language by using the emojis is now resetting the language.
Exactly.
You know
Yeah.
what else is super millennial is exclamation points and stuff like that. So I found out from my 15-year-old daughter that old people use exclamation points
Oh, that's
and the
me.
younger people will use emojis as exclamation points. So like
I love
hearts
exclamation points. Like
You do like them?
every message, if there's an exclamation point, like I put 3.
Okay.
My cousin sat me down. She was like, "Stop doing the exclamation points."
You
And I was like,
texted
"No,
me,
I love them."
And you gave me the three proper, and I went. My chest swelled with
Right?
pride. I'm like, that is a proper exclamation.
I was trying to say thank you, but like 3
Thank you.
times.
Yes, yeah, I
Right?
got it. You did it right.
It's an emphasis 3 times.
You do what you want.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? Do what you want. Absolutely.
You do you.
All right, Shawty. Love you. Oh, here it is. Go, Shawty. All right, we got to take a break. We will come back in a moment. When we return, our guests begin because we are going to have our friend Greg Harris, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame CEO. He's going to
Yes.
be joining us in. What's that?
Not my friend.
Oh, yeah, because of fish. And then Kyle Dunnigan, who's going to be at Punchline, is going to be joining us as well. And then we'll have Stephen and Mel on the program, too. So we'll be back in just a sec. Make sure you stay with us.
Preston.
Really expensive. and I
Wait a
would
second,
not
though.
want to ruin my underwear.
He does make a good point, Casey. I would actually say that a good pair like Tommy John, and I agree with you 1,000%, Preston, how comfortable they are. They're I think they might be softer than your socks, than
Yeah.
your average socks.
You should really
but
try
they're
the.
way more expensive,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't want to do that.
You should really try Fruit of the Loom breathables. They're great. They're very, very comfortable, and they're not as expensive. But the sock is dirty. It's it's around your.
Have you
gross-
not understood the parameters of what's happening here?
I understand.
Yeah, this is no time for that
Yeah. You can worry-
pie in the sky thinking that you have.
You can worry about cleanup later.
Yeah.
All right, and then finally, it says using your undershirt. If you're wearing an undershirt or layers of shirts, maybe you don't need all of them.
Probably not. Well, what about the tie? Yeah.
Ties can be really expensive.
Doesn't matter.
So it all depends.
This is your human dignity. How much is that worth?
But given a sock over a tie,
Yeah.
I'd do the sock. Socks are cheap.
All right.
You know what I
What
mean?
if you take the tie
Yeah.
and Garrett, the guy in the stall next to you.
And steal his socks.
And there you go.
Now, here it says one final note. Whatever you wind up using in the situation, with the exception of toilet seat covers, do not flush it down the toilet.
No, horrible.
Even paper products like paper towels or tissues shouldn't be flushed because they won't disintegrate like toilet paper. Tissues are designed to withstand explosive sneezes, after all, and persist for a long time, clogging time in our sewer systems, for example. And if you do have to resort to one of these desperate measures, steel yourself and walk the remnants to the garbage.
They have left out hats and weaves as possible
What was the
wiping
last
material.
one?
Hats and weaves.
Oh, weaves.
Yeah.
Talk about expensive.
Steve,
Yes.
listen, the things that people will flush down the toilets. I have a friend of mine who
Plumber?
No. He works for Public Works.
Okay.
And there was a pump house near this housing development, and he said, because there was like big time backups and stuff, and they had to go put in a whole new system. He said, you wouldn't believe what he found that people flush down the toilets, like baseballs, lacrosse
Baseballs?
dildos.
Really?
Like, yes.
Yeah, I
people
remember
are
you
flushing
telling me that. Dildos.
these things down the toilet.
That's the garbage disposal for your dildos, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, by the way, a lot of texts and calls coming. This text says, I once wiped my ass with a $20 bill when caught without any toilet paper while drinking at a party. Took the same $20 bill, washed it off, and then bought more beer with it.
Oh,
after
God.
that.
Grody.
I could not.
They wash it up. Would you throw away the money?
I would.
I'd wash it off.
I would. No, I would. I would. I just couldn't bring myself to recirculate that into the system.
Once you clean it, it's good.
Okay.
I'm going to go to Brian. Let me go to some calls here real quick. Hey, Brian, good morning.
Good morning.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
I'm great.
I was on a job site once,
Yeah.
and I was about an hour and a half away from where I work, and I went into the porta potty, and there was nothing. So it was a chilly day. I had a sweatshirt and a T-shirt on, and I had to use my T-shirt.
That's absolutely fine.
Brian, did you realize before you sat down or?
No.
Oh, no, it was afterwards.
You know,
That's the thing. That's it.
That's the point at which you've made a critical error. That's why I think for our bathroom here and Brian on job sites when you have the porta potty, there should be a small rack of clothing there for you to use in case you run out of toilet
Just
paper, right?
clothing. Yeah, at all times.
I agree.
Brian, did you end up? I guess you tossed your shirt into the porta potty, right?
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy who has to clean it, but
Well,
Right.
you could toss it into a porta pot because it's not going through plumbing.
But they eventually have to. They have to. Yeah, it won't go through plumbing.
Yeah.
but they do have to do something with that stuff eventually.
Don't they have people that pull the clothing out and clean
Yeah, I
it?
think they do. Maybe that's what.
Ooh, a shirt.
Ooh,
All right, listen
a
to
dildo.
this. Listen to this. I'm going to Scott. This
right.
is very interesting. Hi, Scott. Good morning.
Hey, Preston, is this bad time? Can you talk?
I can talk. I'm good. What's up, buddy?
So I was out for a long walk with my girlfriend, now wife. We were going to go feed the ducks, feed the fish, and the urge hit, and we were far from anywhere, and I had nothing. I squatted behind a tree. I told her to run. It wasn't
To run.
This isn't going to be pretty.
Run! Get to the chopper!
and I had to use the pack of hamburger buns that we were going to use to feed the ducks.
Oh, my God.
My God. You used a bread product.
I did. I had
Okay.
to.
So could you? You could. Was it in plastic? Could you have used the plastic first?
I probably could have used the plastic, but
I'm going to support you in your use of the bread. I think that probably on a more natural level would be better. And even with this knowledge, this woman married you. She's a keeper.
she did. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. And then it says here on my screen, there was some other situations.
Oh yeah, I did landscaping for a number of years, and when there's nothing out there on a job site, and it's in the middle of winter, and there's no paper, there's nothing, I just rolled up a couple snowballs and washed it.
Snowballs.
I thought you were going to say
Never
like
considered
a
that.
shrub.
My God, Scott.
A snowball would work.
Yeah, but think about
The cold.
the cold.
Yeah.
How
Yes.
how funky was that?
It was awful. The homeowner actually came out, and my boss told her what was going on. She was a friendly lady. And she said, that must have been one cold poop.
Oh my God!
Let me ask you just on a basic level, Scott. How do you have intestinal issues, or were we talking panic situations here, like you're sick?
It was. I used to have some pretty good intestinal issues before I got taken care
And
of.
because when that happens, people don't realize.
But listen,
there's nothing you can do.
Working the landscaping though, if you're out all day long, and I would imagine a lot of times people aren't home. You can't say knock on the door and say, "Look, I'm having an emergency. I apologize." And you probably don't want to do that anyway. I would imagine you find yourself in a situation where it's like, all right. Pardon the pun, but I got to make do. I got to make this happen.
You better skim your pool.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Scott. I appreciate it. I'll bet you construction workers, guys out in landscaping,
snipers,
maybe. Yeah. No, but I'll bet you that that group of people have to deal with this more than anyone else.
Because your options are much more limited.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I would always be wearing a wiping shirt.
Case, we don't have much time, right?
No, damn it, we're just cracking the surface on this.
I know. Let me see here.
We're changing lives.
What is this? All right, let me go to Dan. Hi, Dan. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good. What's up, Dan?
Okay, so when I first got together with my now wife, I was born in Kansas, and I wanted to take her. We were going to visit family. And I wanted to take her to the river where we spent my stomping grounds when I was a kid. We used to go fishing, swimming,
It's awesome. Yes, how romantic.
It was going to be great. So I thought, so we get down there and, we're walking around and I'm like, yeah, this is where I used to, uh-oh.
Uh-huh.
She's looking at me. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. So I'm actually using the car that my mom lent me, while we were there visiting.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Opened the door to the old Chrysler Sebring drop top, and I thought, well, I don't have anything. And I'm looking around. I'm like, Mom's beanie it is,
Mom's beanie?
Yeah.
She had a hat in the car, and that's it.
I used the hat. I had to, man. I do construction, too, so I'm telling you guys, it's a rough life, man.
I know. I have no doubt. When you have to use your beloved mother's beanie.
God rest her soul. No.
Thank God Grandma wasn't in the backseat. Your skin's kind of papery.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Dan, that's...
My wife looked at me, and I'm like, I'm so sorry.
All right.
Thanks, Dan.
Rabbi, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
You don't have to say yes.
Oh, my God. Listen, at some point, you have no choice, or you're walking around with what we described the other week, the Chappelle thing, mud butt, and you can't have that.
It reduces you, but the thing is that you're not alone.
Yeah.
That's the song says.
I thought these were good tips. I thought these are good things you may not consider to check your pockets, maybe the cardboard roll. I mean, these are last measures.
But number one, as you said at the top of it, don't panic.
Don't panic.
Don't panic.
Relax, and you can get through this. So anyhow, just
John McClane it.
We're saving lives here. That's what we're doing. All right, so we need to take a break. Thank you for listening and for your patience and your resolve to stay with the President Steve Show. $50 Wawa gift card. Take caller number 8 at 215-263-WMMR. Tomorrow is Wawa Hoagie Day. It's part of the Wawa Welcome America celebration.
So exciting.
Casey and I will be on Independence Mall tomorrow from noon to 2 at 5th and Chestnut.
Beautiful weather.
And you can come out. The weather's going to be great. Yep. And you get free. It's an 8-ton hoagie. Free to the public. Come and get your lunch and join us for that event. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in a moment. We will get the CEO of Wawa, Mr. Chris Geison's on in just a little bit. Returning shortly. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
Anyway, enough about me. We need to talk about you. We're diving into the city beat, folks. Yep. I got some stories that have to do with things in and around or affect our area.
Scoobily wow wow. Yeah. He's the meat behind the street.
And I got this particular story because sometimes I have some outside contributors. Kathy Romano sent this to me.
So she's a correspondent.
This is from NJ.com, and
right.
they have their list of the.
That's New Jersey, right?
That would stand for New Jersey. NJ stands for New Jersey. All 44 New Jersey beaches ranked worst to best for summer 2022. Now we're not going to go through all 44.
Okay, just do the 43.
No, we're gonna go through the ones where most of our area head to.
Like right, not up by the city.
Yeah,
by,
there's
by
going to be
New York.
southern
Gotcha.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
So
I will say though, like I went through the whole list. I didn't realize there are some beaches out there I had never heard of that are very popular for people in our area too.
Yeah.
So obviously, this whole the migration to the shore is a huge thing. It's been that so for decades and decades and decades. But you know, it's funny what you just said, Kathy, because there are people who, like, I didn't know some of the taking a look at the map. Some of the beaches that are popular were shore towns that people go to. I had no idea existed.
Right. So there was one, and it's on the list, and I'm sure you'll get to it, Preston. But Ortley Beach, and it is not like what we consider the shore. And I actually recently had a conversation with a few different people who couldn't believe that I had not heard of it, and said it's very popular.
What?
And it's
I never heard of Ortley.
Yeah, it's listed as one of the better beaches to go to.
What part of Jersey is that in?
Case, it's like I think it's considered maybe like Tom's River.
All right, thank you very much, Kath. We have a friend who is joining us because the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced their inductees not that long ago. We spent a good amount of time breaking that stuff down, talking about it. And we're going to get a little bit deeper because he is the authority on the subject. Please welcome the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame CEO, Mr. Greg Harris. Hey! Good day,
Hello,
Greg. Good to see you.
Philadelphia.
Nice to see you again, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm thrilled to be on with you because it is good news for Philly with this induction class. And I have to share, I was back there last weekend and caught something at the World Cafe Live.
Okay.
And the city looks terrific. It's all good.
Nice.
We take personal responsibility for that. We put a lot of effort into it. So
That's
a lot of
us.
mopping and dusting. Yeah.
Yep, I thought I saw that road sign. This mile sponsored by Preston.
That's right. Yes.
Well, listen, Greg, you had mentioned, we're Philadelphia being represented in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies this year. And one that we were very happy to hear, obviously, was Chubby Checker. He's been up for the potential for a long time. I'm friends with his son, and so I know that the family was really, really pulling for him to get in because, listen, nobody's getting any younger. And, of course, you want a chance for these people to experience this for themselves, and Chubby's getting in. It's so great,
Oh, it's fantastic. And, he was eligible for a long time. And this was his very first time on the ballot. And first time on the ballot, he went right in. So really positive news and wonderful. And you're right. Great that he can enjoy the accolades. And we're thrilled that he's going into the Rock and Roll
And you know
Hall
what?
of Fame.
We were wondering out loud when we were talking about this because the interesting thing about Chubby Checker is wonderful performer, but didn't write the material and also was not the first person to record the material and have a hit with it. I don't know if that's ever happened before within the Rock Hall.
I think, let's see, digging through there, you might get some of that, maybe even with Elvis.
Yeah, true.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope.
But you're right, and it has historically it's favored those that wrote their own material. This year, another person, Joe Cocker's going in. Similar, not a songwriter, but just a great interpreter and performer. And Chubby, I think we all know Hank Ballard was the original, but Chubby just brought it to the masses. And also, not just the twist. He got everybody moving with the fly, with the pony, with different things like that, and was really a big influence on a lot of artists. And that's what this is all about. It's impact and influence.
So, and Philly's all over the place in other representation as well. There was like 4 or 5 different inductees who have some, at least a fairly significant connection to the area. And that was really cool.
Oh, yeah. And none greater than Tom Bell. Right. With Gamblin' Huff, everybody knows Gamblin' Huff. And I think most people do know Tom Bell, but he didn't go in with those guys. And, think about him as a songwriter, as an arranger, and his stuff is all over, the stylistics. We're doing his songs, and the Intruders are doing his songs. And, you just hear if I could sing, I'd do la, la, la. I love you, but I just can't.
Yeah.
And they're just so sophisticated, just beautiful songs. And they define the Philly sound. And Tom Bell is a wonderful addition to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Sadly, he has passed, but I know that his friends and family and others are thrilled that he's being given this honor, and kind of completes a nice arc for Philly music with Kenny Gamble, Leon Huff, and Tom Bell all being together in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Greg, one of the fun things that I like about the Rock Hall now, when the nominees are in, is because the Rock Hall has been around for a certain amount of time now. You're starting to get those that are like, hey, why aren't these guys in yet? And so, because we got all the big biggies in early on, right off the bat, the pioneers, the architects of rock and roll, and then it started to branch out a little bit. Now we're starting to get those, hey, what about these guys? And it seems like Bad Company might have been the group this year that people were pulling for in that regard,
Yeah, another one, iconic songs. And Paul Rogers, and when you look at the band members' legacy, being in Free, being in a number of other bands, Bad Company is a super group. And again, there's another piece with impact and influence, and that is that you have longevity and you impact another generation of artists, another generation of musicians. And you're right, Bad Company had a lot of support. The voters really went for it, and we're thrilled they're going in, and well deserved. Before we leave Philly, I hope we get to talk a little bit about Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
A huge city for her, and that first record that had 5 or 6 top 10 hits on the album has Philadelphia's fingerprints all over it, with songwriters contributing and parts of her band. Just really should be celebrated as well.
Yep. Yeah, and it is terrific, and obviously, so we're looking forward to that. We also want to make mention of this SNL tribute that's going on, because obviously they had that retrospective, the 50th anniversary, and as well as all these iconic music artists that have been on that show. So what is going on there?
Oh, thank you for asking. We're opening up an exhibit later this month. It's 50 years of Saturday Night Live. As you may have seen, NBC had specials. There was lots of things celebrating it. Well, our exhibit specifically is celebrating all of the musical artists that appeared on the show. I believe it's 1,800 that have been on the show, and it's a who's who, from Elvis Costello and Patti Smith, and David Bowie and Queen, just on and on and on. Well, we have all the things from that. We also have pieces from the musical sketches, so you will see the more cowbell outfit and the cowbell. And then for another Philly connection, Amir Thompson, Questlove, produced a documentary that was aired on NBC about the 50th anniversary. He did a special edit for us to show at the museum, and we'll be showing that as part of this exhibit as well. And visitors can come and watch every single past performance that's ever been on SNL while they're in the exhibit. It's a short ride from Philly. It's a good summer for a road trip. People should come out and check this out.
Hey, but Greg, with all these Philly connections, why not just move it here?
Yeah.
Bring the whole thing, man.
Oh, I could be zooming in from the shore with you on a regular basis.
No, you guys always have wonderful things that are cooking. And I love these special exhibits that come in and out. When something comes in that is a special exhibit, how long of a shelf life does it usually have?
It'll be up all summer long, so definitely hop in the car. Mm-hmm. And then we'll extend it, I'm sure, toward the holidays. Absolutely. But we don't want to make it sound too long, because then people don't come right away.
It's true. Yeah. It's the same thing in the bedroom. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Dear God.
That's what we do.
The other thing about SNL is I remember sitting, in your suburban house watching this thing at 11:30 at night. All your neighbors were asleep, and there it was on the screen. And it may have been a band that the Talking Heads or Diva or something really interesting that it exposed you to something brand new. This was all pre-MTV when it originally launched, and it just had a huge impact on all of us.
Well, me personally, and we just had Kate Pearson from the B-52s join us last week, and that was a pivotal moment in my life, looking at, and I was like, what am I watching? Who are these people? What in the world is this weird music they're playing? Which I had no idea at the time I would come to absolutely love. At the time, it was so foreign and strange to me. But SNL was the window for that. Another one, and I've told you guys about this, David Bowie had this really weird performance where he wore this like puppet outfit, and
It was almost a horror movie.
I didn't know what I was looking at,
Yeah.
and that happened time after time after time. But then they would flip right around and have James Taylor on, and doing a really mellow singer-songwriter thing as well. It was such a wonderful cornucopia of music and was a great way to turn people on to new stuff.
Absolutely. A lot of credit goes to the music director for years that picked the acts was a guy named Hal Wilner, and Hal's a Philadelphian. And just to stake our claim to yet one other thing, he did it for years and years, and sadly he passed. Recently, but he was a real force behind getting these artists, and he was trusted to pick those that he thought people should be aware of, and they were a little quirky at times. That was just his style.
Greg, I'll tell you a little piece of trivia. I don't know if you'll know this or not, but G.E. Smith, who a great guitar player, and he was one of the music directors on SNL, he made a mint off of that, not just being paid by the show. He found out that if he wrote the little transitional pieces of music that they would play from, when they come back, our short promo, we'll be back with more Saturday Night Live. He wrote those as songs. And when they performed, he got a writing credit and he got paid. And then when they would run those in reruns, he ended up making a mint on that for writing these little, 30-second, 1 minute long songs. And officially, were you aware of that story?
I wasn't aware of that story, but I'm aware of the power of those interstitials in television soundtracks, because our old friend from across the river, Ben Vaughn, he did all the music for Third Rock from the Sun.
Yes, Tina Fey's husband.
No,
I'm thinking of the rock, 30 Rock. Yeah, but yes, same sort of thing though. Those little snippets that you don't think are full songs, but someone's getting paid for those.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Why didn't we think of that?
I know.
Totally.
Listen, look where we put the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It should have been here.
Yeah.
So, Greg, I wouldn't be doing my job, and I wouldn't be doing my fellow fish heads a service if I didn't ask you how the band that got the most fan votes doesn't get into the Hall of Fame. What is the point of having a fan vote if it doesn't do it? 200 or 700,000 votes only counted as one. Is that how that goes?
Well, I know you have to ask the question, and I get it.
Yeah.
It's interesting that I think it's the top 7 in the fan vote this year, all got in except for Fish.
Wow.
And there was what it parallels is when the Dave Matthews Band went on the ballot for the first time. They ran the table. They won the fan vote, I believe 2 years running, and they finally got in. I think with Fish, they have such a large, loyal, dedicated fan base that really it's a great community, and they turned out to vote. And unfortunately, the bigger voting body, of which is made up of all the other living inductees and a lot of industry people, writers, historians, producers, and others, they just didn't get enough votes through that group on this first ballot.
Gotcha.
They're eligible again. Hopefully they go back on next year, and we can see where it goes. But that's kind of the story. The fan vote itself is more of a directional fan engagement piece. I think some of the voters do look at it, but in the end, induction in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame isn't a popularity contest. The big measure is those that are studying impact and influence, and it's all the other inductees that
right.
I will say that Trey was incredibly gracious in some interviews about their nomination and about all the other candidates, and he actually put himself behind a number of those when he ran through the listing. But I know the fans wish it turned out differently, and we are optimistic that they'll be back for another run.
Cool.
Greg, you mentioned not only the former inductees, and but you said industry professionals. How does the Rock Hall determine who those people are that get a vote? Is that a board that makes that decision?
Yeah, there's a nominating committee.
Okay.
That's independent, and the nominating committee makes the ballot. And that committee has industry folks. It has some musicians, some artists are on it as well. And that creates the ballot. Now, that committee chair also works on who the voting body is, and they're careful to try and keep it fresh, keep it people keep getting added. Those that have been on for a long time sometimes cycle off. So it's a process that the core group, the primary voting body, are all the other inductees, and the idea is those that made their living in this art form can judge the merits of their peers better than others, as well as those that have made their living in music.
Just a quick question. So when you're inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame overall over the many years, do artists routinely notice a tick up in sales, or does it have like a post-Oscar effect? Is there anything similar? Is it just the acknowledgement and there's not really a bump?
Yeah, I think the best is I can't universally give any percentage or anything, but I do recall when, speaking of Philly, when Hall & Oates went in, they mentioned that their activity increased greatly, and they had it's more exposure. You're suddenly going from into a smaller group, and you have this imprimatur that's I believe there is a value to it. But I can't really put a number on it, but there is one. The other thing, before we leave the call, and sometimes there's some confusion, I just want to be clear on, we also gave out what's called these Musical Excellence Awards, but those folks are inducted. They're in the Hall of Fame. They have plaques. It's not any sort of consolation prize. It is they are 100% in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, equal to the performers. And this year, that's how Warren Zevon was going in.
Yep.
Salt and Pepper are going in that way. The great Nicky Hopkins from the Stones, and he also played with the Beatles, played with the Kinks. He's going in, and it's really an amazing group this year, and we're really thrilled with this.
Cool.
Nice.
I was about a half hour away from you guys on Friday night. I was staying in Elyria, Ohio, and I was driving my daughter home from college, and I really wanted to drop by, but I just didn't feel like I had the time to go there. So when you're going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, how much time do you need to carve out of your day in order? Because that's like kind of the one museum I wouldn't mind going to. I'm not a museum guy, but the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I definitely am. How much time?
A casual fan can breeze through in a couple hours. Okay. You would need a full day for sure.
Right.
You're gonna, around every corner, you're gonna have a memory from your life. You're gonna have a memory of artists that you've interacted with, and it's 6 floors. People should, you can probably drive out and experience it, but if you can do it well, I'd come and spend the night and come back the next day, or come over early. There's theaters with shows that are running. You want to catch them. If you are inclined, or your daughter was inclined, we have a space called the Garage. They can play instruments and jam with.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I like that.
That's for you, Preston.
Yeah, totally, man.
I'll play my glockenspiel.
All right. Well, Greg, before we wrap, when are the ceremonies, and when will they air as well?
Yeah. So the ceremony is going to be in Los Angeles this year, and it's on Saturday, November 8th. It will, when it happens, it'll stream on Hulu, because we're in partnership with ABC on this, and then it'll air on ABC at a later date. This year, I should say, we ran it on New Year's Day, and it was a really great slot. We haven't announced the official air date yet, but it's going to be on ABC, and it will be on prime time.
I like New Year's Day. That's good. That's like a go-to, become a tradition every year to watch that. As you're hungover and recovering from the night before. So I like it.
Shouldn't you be at the Mummers Parade that day?
I don't do that thing, man. I can't hang anymore, man. But it is a day to do that. All right, Greg, great to talk to you as always, sir, and we appreciate it, and we will catch up again soon. All right, my man?
Cheers. Best of.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much, Greg Harris.
He's a good spokesman.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame CEO. Absolutely. And Case, man, I want to go and spend a couple of days.
Right.
And really take it all in.
It's just my whole life is just all music.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could spend a day just in the Cisco Pavilion. I mean, that thong song tribute. Yeah.
And it's on a loop.
It's on a loop, and they have free thongs at the door.
Wow. All right, our next guest is joining us. He will be at Punchline Friday and Saturday. We love having him on. He's been coming by the show for years. Please welcome Mr. Kyle Dunnigan.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing really good. How are you guys doing?
We, sir, are wonderful. Have you?
Is
by
that
the way,
a true statement, or are you just saying that because a lot of people go, "I'm doing great," and then because they don't want to burden anyone?
Oh no, I'm doing actually horrible. It's and I kid you not, I'm doing terrible.
Okay.
But I'm doing my job as well.
Yeah.
So
okay, you gotta lie.
You understand the split that needs to occur.
I'm constantly lying.
To segue from our last guest to you now, we have the CEO of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's from Philadelphia. We have him on, every year. You ever
And
been
I'm
there?
in the Comedy Hall of Fame.
Nice. There's the tie. No, have you ever done that? You ever been to Cleveland to the Rock Hall?
I was just there, and I didn't go. I didn't think of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I left, I was like, oh, I never went to. What is it like? Have you been there?
We've seen representation. I mean, it actually initially when it first was announced and the first initial years, it didn't seem like something that really popped. But now they've done sort of very thematic presentations, and the structure itself is, I think, worth a tribute. They actually have a broadcast facility. They keep wanting us to come there and do the show from there. So I think right now it probably is something worth seeing. You're a musician, though.
Can I am, and can I just had like an idea that if they're probably still listening, maybe they could use this.
Okay.
But imagine you go there and like an Elvis impersonator greets you like, hey, come on in here. And then you're going around, it's all famous musicians.
Yeah.
Like really good impersonators.
As opposed to the Disney characters, you're getting that.
Yeah, it could be like the Jackrabbit Slim in Pulp Fiction. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, just an idea.
I like it.
Kyle, just to circle back to what Preston was talking about earlier, and then you mentioned how you're lying constantly up on stage and probably inherently a liar. If you're having a really bad day, do you feel better after a show? Is a show being on stage a catharsis for you, or do you just go out and do your best and hope that you get through it?
Yeah, I have had shows where the audience did make me feel better. And I've had shows where I was feeling good, the audience made me feel bad. You know what you want to do? If you're doing a bunch of shows, like I'm in New York City, and like sometimes you'll do 6 shows a night, it's always the last one that matters. You can have like 5, whatever, but the last one's really good. You go home feeling good, and you can have, 5 fun shows. And if the last one isn't fun, it ruins your night. And universally, comedians feel this way. I've talked to many of them. It's the last one that matters.
Well, because inherently, isn't that supposed to be the most in the pocket? That's the time for the comedy show to be taking place later in the evening, and that's the audience you assume is primed and ready for the whole thing, and that should be representative. Is that true?
You underestimate the money that the clubs in New York want to make. By the last show, it's sometimes 20 people.
Oh, really?
Or one drunk man.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of avoid. When you put in your availability, I usually avoid like later shows because of that.
How late do they go? How late will they schedule?
Oh my! I mean the Comedy Cellar does like booming business. And they got shows at 1 a.m. that go, till it's like till 2:30 in the morning. The shows go.
That's ridiculous.
Kyle, I wanted to know. You mentioned like one drunk guy. What's the smallest group that you've ever played to?
I played for one man.
Seriously.
And he was falling asleep, and I go, you can go if you want. And he goes, I felt bad.
I felt bad. Hey,
yeah.
Literally, I was at this golf outing one time, and they thought it would be a good idea to have a comedian, and like everybody left after the golf outing, and there was like 8 of us. And I felt so bad for this guy, and I was laughing at stuff that wasn't that funny, and I was doing it just
nice
because I felt horrible for this guy.
Takes a lot of energy to laugh when you don't think it's funny.
Right?
All of your energy.
Yeah.
Well, also on the comedian's end, as you're writing material, and you're an accomplished writer as well, obviously, you say, okay, if this one doesn't go over, I'll allot this amount of time. I don't think most comedians figure in, okay, this one will get absolutely no response, so I'm going to tailor it this way, right? That's never fits into the equation.
Yeah, you never factor that in. But at home it's all very funny. But putting comedians, this happens a lot, and I don't really do corporates unless it's like a lot of money.
Yeah.
But in general, I don't do them because stand up, it's kind of like people think, oh, we'll just have a comedian and he'll be funny here. But it's such an active thing. It's not like music where you don't have to listen. Like you have to listen to every word the comedian's saying, or you don't get the setup. It's just it's got to be quiet. It's kind of got to be dark. The ceiling's kind of got to be low. It's just a very delicate thing to make work, and a lot of times it's corporate. So and I did colleges, and they just wouldn't think of it. Like I went to a college. I don't do them anymore, but they're like, "Do you need a microphone?" And I was like, "Yes." And then they put me. I was on a ramp. There was like a ramp down to like this cafeteria, and there's 2 cash registers to my left. Constantly people buying potato chips, ching, and there was the football, or no, it was the basketball finals was in the same room, like on the other end of the room. So there was cheering. So like I was trying to time my jokes to the cheers. So
it's impossible. I actually did years ago when I was doing stand-up. I did a college. I think it was in Louisiana. And I kid you not, Kyle, the same question. Do you need a microphone? They ended up handing me an old-style Rudy Valley megaphone, like from the football, from
like a cone with a handle on it.
I swear to God. Yeah. And I started laughing. At least it was great for me. No one heard a single damn thing I said, but it was wild. Yeah.
That's crazy. You did a megaphone show. Yeah, that they're run by the kids. There's like, 18, 19-year-old kids are booking you, and they're also running the show, and so of course they don't know what's going on. I did a show at Amster. What's the one in Massachusetts? Doesn't matter. Amherst, yes. Yeah. Is a big open field, like a huge open field, and this cement stage.
Oh my God!
And there was these giant, dorms all around, and there was one guy I remember in a red sweatshirt just in the middle of this field, and I was like, "Do I have to go on?" I was just hoping they would just go, "No, don't worry about it," and they go, "Just go up there and start talking, and people will start coming out of the dorms." So I just had to go up and just start talking.
My God. You've like Pied Piper trying to get him out. Yeah, wow, that's nightmarish. So, we talked to a lot of people like, Todd Glass, and people who routinely would go in well in advance and walk the room and check the sound systems and so on and so forth.
He's great.
Are you that, specific?
No, Todd is like known as the greatest room, like decorate. He's lighting, and sound.
He decorates the green room. The green room. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love that, but I don't do that.
He would literally go to Target and go buy like lava lamps and stuff. And
tapestries.
His Instagram, I don't know if you've seen his Instagram, or he's got such funny videos.
He's great.
God, I love this.
He did one the other day where he just rolled up the window and he was telling a joke, and it was a bad joke, and he rolled up the window, and because I know Todd and love him, it just made me laugh because it was him. But circling back to colleges real quick, Kyle, I wanted to ask you about post gigs ever at colleges, because I went to school in Central PA in the mid-'90s, and one year we got a huge comedian to come to visit us at school, and it was Carrot Top, and we were super excited the Carrot Top was coming. So he came and he did the show, and it was great. It was fun. It was sort of at the height of Carrot Top's career, and when the show was over, he ended up going to a whole bunch of parties, inviting some co-eds back to the hotel. Like, Carrot Top enjoyed his time on Bucknell's campus. Have you ever partied with the college kids after the college gig?
I actually, Carrot Top came to our school too, and it was a huge deal.
Yeah.
I remember that too. I do remember going to a couple of parties, but it never being a good idea. I was always like, I wish I didn't go to that.
Yeah, it seems like
I never got like hooked up with the college co-eds, or I never did well in that area. I tried a few times, but I aged out of colleges at a certain point. It's like, they're so young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so the things I'm talking about, some stuff to relate to, but like I haven't done colleges in like 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
The notion of going and partying, by the way, is just you just can see that Inside Edition segment that's going to be.
Yeah. I don't need any of that press. And then I remember one of them I went to, it's like they're just wild. A kid like jumped off a balcony onto a couch. Everyone's like, do it. And I'm like, I got to get the F out of here.
Our college comedian was Adam Sandler.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Wow,
he came
that's
and
huge. What school did you go to?
Westchester University in Pennsylvania.
We had David Spade, which is step down, but still.
I had Robert Klein years because I'm older, but I'm Robert Klein, and he was one of my absolute favorites. And but I mean, the thing is, as you well know, Kyle, these colleges get the money, and if they don't spend that money on the budget they have, they don't get it the next year. So a lot of times you get these smaller rinky-dink schools that will drop a big load of cash.
Oh yeah. It kept me going through like some lean years for sure.
But those lean years appears to be over because you're working heartily. You've been doing the Kill Tony stuff, which has been huge. And I have to ask you, with the delicate nature of the RFK impression, because he has a medical condition, but you nailed it. I mean, and I have to ask two questions. Does that kill your voice when you do it, A? And B, I've seen him interviewed, and he seems to have, when he's not talking business, a pretty good sense of humor. Has that gotten back to him? And if so, what's the reaction been?
Yeah, I think he does have a good sense. I've met him like backstage at Largo, this theater in LA, and he just seemed like he had a good sense of humor. I don't know him at all, but yeah, he has that medical condition, but when someone's so rich and powerful, I feel like I don't feel bad.
I think you're fine. I think he would probably agree, but it just like you hear like the lead singer of a rock band going out and going for a long time doing that.
Yes. Yeah. I had the first time I did Kill Tony, I couldn't stop talking like that, and I got scared. Like, I would never be able to stop. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go to bed now. And I went to bed. I'm like, I hope I wake up and I can talk. It got locked in.
It got locked in.
Hours of it.
You have almost, so there are, again, it's an uncanny ability. You have your vocally, you sit in a register that makes the impressions you do, like we're friends with Frank, Caliendo and other people who are certainly tops as well. But when you lock on something and catch the voice, it's like Bill Maher and so on and so forth. And we know Maher's not a big fan of the.
No, I love Kyle Dunnigan. He's a great guy. Very funny. Okay.
Yeah, he's not. He I don't know why. I don't like have any ill feeling towards him, even though he was really mean to me at one point. But
I don't get that.
It's just funny to me that it even bothers him, makes me laugh. It's like, why does he even care?
You would think he would know after all these years, especially all the stuff that has been able to sort of deflect and move through, that he would know the best response would be, oh, that's fun. That's flattering.
It's the only thing you can do. Even if you hate it or it makes you look bad, you just got to go, that's funny. So, because there's no winning if someone does an impression of you and you go like, I hate it. You still look. But I heard about that years ago that he didn't like it, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
AJ Benza was like with him, and he told me. I was like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
And then I was at a Whole Foods, and this woman comes up to me, and she goes, "I just have to tell you, I was a stewardess on Bill Maher's private plane, and I asked him, I said, have you heard Kyle Dunnigan's impression of you?" And he turned away, and he wouldn't look at me, and he didn't respond. And then I walked away, and then I was told by my boss I had to sit in the back of the plane the rest of the time, and I didn't get a tip.
Oh my God!
Wow,
that's a sensitive man.
Yes.
It's also a revelation that they tip on those flights.
I think they get good tips.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's like a private boat,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice fat wad at the end.
Kyle is joining us via Zoom, and I do have to ask, what is on that unsightly wall behind you that you have to have black curtains up behind you?
Oh, this is a peek behind the mirror. These are curtains. I do green screening.
Oh, you do green screen for that? Okay.
Your green screen stuff is phenomenal, and I love also the facial replication software, whatever. I love that it is high tech and low rent at the same time.
It's very low. It's very low tech. It's just Snap Camera, which
is that still? Do they?
No, it doesn't. For some reason, they deleted it. But my friend who's like a computer whiz made my computer like a hub. I don't even understand what he did, but like I can still kind of run it. I don't think it works on Zoom though. Let me see.
Okay, we're trying to scare something
No,
up for
it
us.
doesn't.
I mean,
I was going to give you a face, but it doesn't work on Zoom.
Okay.
It's great. It locks onto your face. And one of the best I remember was the Ray Liotta
Oh, Chantix.
for Chantix.
Yeah, get Chantix. I tried everything, cocaine, everything. I tried Chantix.
Oh man, I did the Chantix, dude. That it works, but B, when you're coming off of it, it is
You should hallucinate, don't you?
It's wild. Like
That's like cocaine.
Yeah, no, it's like when
Really?
So Kyle, when I would wake up from my slumber, my first thoughts were, am I dead? Like,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Is that listed as a side effect? Might believe you're dead?
Have I been dead and I'm just coming back to life right now? Like, I'm telling you, it's
Oh my
scary.
God.
And it would be like that for like 3 or 4 days after coming off of Chantix. It was a very, very jarring
my God.
feeling. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, but like, yeah.
Side effects include nausea and thinking you're dead.
Yeah.
Well, the nausea I can handle.
And you know what? I would love to hear from anybody else that had similar sort of feelings, because I don't know any other way to describe it other than like I just thought I had been dead and now I'm coming back to
So
life.
Ray
Like,
Liotta was kind of a pusher then, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And then he
I
died.
actually did die. Yeah,
Yeah, I actually did.
Yeah, a fucking Chantix. Got a cigarette.
Kyle, if the answer to this question is no, I won't be offended. But do you ever take requests during interviews like this? Did you already say no?
I said no, but I do. Go ahead.
All right. And I only ask for this because I love it so much. And it's the impression of your mom when you came into the bedroom at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah. So this is my impression of my mom. I woke her up at 4 in the morning, guys. Hey, Craig, what is this? What did go back to bed? What is this? My next impression. I think that was it.
That's my favorite.
I just did it.
But so wait, it turns out that your mom is Craig from Reno 911.
Oh wait, I was supposed to be my mom. I was supposed to be Craig.
It doesn't
I
matter.
prefer Craig.
Yeah.
They seem to be one and the same.
No, I watched the video of your mom trying to sing the Mamas and Papas. Hilarious. By the way, you're damn good on the piano. We mentioned at the beginning of this.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
What are your? Are you formally taught, or did you just pick it up yourself?
We had a piano in our basement that half the keys were broken, and I just banged on it, and my parents noticed that I was doing this for hours, and so they bought me a piano, which was really nice. I'm just self-taught, and I always just kind of played the piano.
It's amazing. I mean,
impressive.
Self-taught, yeah. And you were blowing through that. I forget which Mamas and the Papa song it was, but it was damn good.
All the leaves
All
are
the brown.
brown. It's funny because nobody in my family has any talent at all. Like none of them can do anything.
But they seem to know it because when you're doing the video and your family realizes their harmonizing is hideous.
Terrible.
Yeah.
They just, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of think it was like a therapy thing. I was really like a really bad reader. And I think I just kind of, I think your brain will you delegate it to certain things.
Yes.
Mine was delegated towards like math and music.
All right.
And that was like my focus of my brain.
Could the rest of your family read?
No one could read.
No one could read. Wow.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right.
No,
well-
actually, yeah, they can read.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, brother, we got to wrap, but we just want to remind people that
No,
Kyle.
I gotta go. He's
gotta leave. He's got a thing. Punchline.
And let me just say, by the way, if
Friday and Saturday.
you're familiar, Kyle, is the impressions are great, but the straight stand-up, some of my favorite, most
thank
clever
you.
bits are just brilliant. I just played from my wife the other day, and she was howling. So you got the whole. It's a smorgasbord of talent.
Thank you so much. And if anybody coming to the shows this weekend at the Philly Punchline, all proceeds go to me.
Well, I'm glad you're transparent about that, because sometimes you don't know where the money's going.
Yeah, nothing goes to charity.
That's excellent.
Enough with that.
Friday and Saturday, punchlinephilly.com to get your tickets. We shall see you another time, Kyle. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
Kyle Dunnigan! Awesome. All right, we do have to take a break. Coming up, we have a chance to win $1,000. But here's what we're going to have a chance for you to win right now. Cafe Carmela's has brought by food for Nonnas, the show on Netflix. And we have a chance for you. By the way, they brought in their Ralphie Ravioli today. Celebrate the release of Nonnas, which is on Friday on Netflix. Anyway, you can enjoy an ethnic Italian experience at the locations in the Northeast and Huntington Valley. So here's what you do: text the word Netflix to 610-660-9333, and you just might win yourself a $100 gift card from Cafe Carmela's and 1 month subscription to Netflix.
You know what I realized, Preston? It's sort of how we should be saying gnocchi. It's that, like you said, like kind of the add a little of the Italian to it when you say it.
With a little Ferris Bueller.
Like Jenna Chetty.
Yes,
like that. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Come back in a second. Stay with us.
But from where I live, the people that I was talking to, they said it's the same distance, same amount of time for them to go there as it would be to go, to Avalon or Stone Harbor.
I have no, listen, it's not even July yet, right? So usually you kind of have to wait until after like school is officially out. But I feel like I wonder if this economy is having some issues, no. If it's causing issues. I feel like the beach has not been overly crowded, and I wonder if gas prices or any of those things is wreaking havoc and causing issues with.
Doesn't
people.
help, for sure.
Yeah,
So.
I don't know if you've noticed, Press. If have you noticed it being a little bit quieter down there?
A smidge, maybe, but not like really noticeable. But
you do a lot of skeet shooting off your roof, so you wouldn't really even notice.
Yeah. I scare them away, basically.
They just run away. So give us a teasers.
First, let me give you the what they judged the criteria on. So it says we judge only oceanfront beaches, no bay, lake, or riverfront on beach quality, cleanliness, crowd type and size, parking availability, and surrounding food, drink, and recreation.
Gets along well with other beaches.
They said we went to one beach per town. For example, Ortley Beach.
Ortley
was the representative for Toms River, Kathy.
Yeah.
And Island Beach State Park checks in for Berkeley Township. So I kind of stayed a little bit Atlantic City, like Margate and South.
The ones when you think of
or not Margate, but Brigantine and South is kind of what I'm
kind of a novice to this. Occasionally my wife will go down for a little bit.
You're not a shore guy.
I'm not a shore guy.
Yeah.
But I'm every time I go down, I have a good time. So I might be moving in that way. But I always think of it, Preston, from Atlantic City south is the main concentration.
From here, because you just take the AC Expressway straight out,
right?
And
which is funny because my girlfriend used to live in Northeast Philly, and there's a town, and I'm curious as to whether or not it shows up on the list or not, Preston. But if you take 195. Due east, it goes straight across the street instead of like the AC Expressway, which goes south and east. And there's a town called Spring Lake, which is one of the nicest towns I've ever been to. I had never heard of it growing up.
Spring Lake?
Well, it's Steve. I
never heard of it.
It's gorgeous. It's near Point Pleasant. It's a little north of Point Pleasant. But I'd never gone to it growing up. And yeah, Kathy, like for me growing up, it was Atlantic City and South. That was the Jersey Shore.
So she grew up in Northeast Philly. I grew up in Bucks County. So we most of the time went to what we consider the shore, but we did go up that way to some of the beach towns up there. Spring Lake is actually not listed. It's not listed well on this list.
No kidding.
Well, because they said even
it's the poor man's Ortley.
Well, no, they said it's beautiful and the homes are beautiful, but like it's there's not much else to do. You have to drive into the town. Like you can't if you're going to go to the beach. There's nowhere really to go get something to eat or anything like that.
That's what they took into consideration on this list.
Stuff to do.
Stuff to do. Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
We when we were poking around there, as far north as we went was Seaside Heights. We actually went up there and looked and kind of worked our way down.
And that's where Jersey Shore was shot.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, so let me go through a few highlights on this list.
I don't want to hear this list.
Number 40 is Atlantic City. Obviously, there's probably
are there things to do there?
There are some things to do there. It says amazing, and I'm going to read you the description from NJ.com. Amazing Bruce Springsteen song and terrific boardwalk.
That's right.
The ability to gamble feet away from the ocean is pretty incredible, but the beach itself is lackluster at best.
Do you agree with that?
Not the cleanest by any stretch, and the sand isn't exactly soft, and even that vaunted boardwalk is starting to feel downtrodden, just like the rest of the city. So that's their assessment.
Preston, does Brigantine get folded into Atlantic City?
No, it's its own thing. Yeah. All right, then you have number 39, Wildwood. It says you can't do much better than Wildwood's Boardwalk. They don't have a roller coaster. They basically have a theme park and a water park and go-karts and enough boardwalk food to make you sick. But you can't do much worse than their beach. It's so long and flat that walking to the water is exhausting. They literally have sand taxis. It says cute, but a sign that your beach is way too wide. It is huge. All up and down the Wildwoods, except North Wildwood is
Well,
tiny.
they do also have planks to walk on, so you're not walking in straight up sand.
But anyone, like the first time I got out there years ago, I remember thinking, everyone thinks, you cannot help but go, Jesus Christ, this is a very wide beach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've come to love it.
All right, then you have
It loves you.
Margate City.
Okay.
It says finding parking is tricky at Margate. This is number 35 on the list. I'm going to work our way down. I'm just skipping around to highlights.
Yeah.
And for once, so is finding Lucy the elephant too. The 6-story, 140-year-old wooden South Jersey icon is currently undergoing renovations. But you know what is open? The Margate Dairy Bar, home of some of the best ice cream and burgers you'll find on the shore. The beach itself is fine but unremarkable, they say.
Okay.
Number 31 is Strathmere.
I love Strathmere.
Yeah,
too.
it's great.
One of the few free beaches in the Garden State. Strathmere's sand isn't exactly pristine, but there's a ton of parking available, and the Twisties is a terrific dive bar nearby.
Twisties is what
I've been by there.
described as like it's like stuck. It's like back in time.
Oh, it's okay.
But they don't need to do anything because it's the only place to go there, and people flock to it. And it's actually great. It's right on the bay. Like you sit there, you're looking at the bay. It's just it gets really crowded because it's the only place to go.
Right.
Between Ocean City and Sea Isle.
Is it the same place as the Deauville, or is it next to the Deauville?
No, that's not it. It's further. It's like the middle of Strathmere.
So
next.
a quick question. So is this where if you don't have a place down there?
No, there's houses there. It's just not
I'm
as
saying
many.
for people who are just going to go and take a day trip. Is this?
Oh, I got you.
Is this a likely beach?
No. I don't think so.
Oh, I think so. Because isn't it free there? Isn't it? Yeah,
it is.
You don't need the beach tags, and it's sort of a nice midpoint between Ocean City and Sea Isle. Sea Isle is a little younger. Sea Isle kind of skews towards, especially like the party scene, like 20-year-olds, and that generation, and Ocean City is much more family.
I guess it depends on what you want because there's really not a whole lot to do there.
Yeah,
just
if you just want beach,
That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
What about marlin fishing?
All right, I don't know.
Well, there was a time where Casey and Kathy and I went to the Deauville. We took a limo down there.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Don't bring that up.
A decade ago, and it was a disaster.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Disaster.
I don't know what you mean by disaster.
Was it an appearance?
Wait,
it was
Casey,
an appearance.
Is that where you got out and walked home from the Blue Route?
Yes.
That was on the way back, yeah.
On the way back because I was very, very aware of the fact that there was major construction going on north of Westchester Pike. I had recommended getting off and going to Route 1 because we were supposed to stay at this hotel across the street over here. And you, Kathy, was like, no, it's faster to go this. I was like, there is. And then sure enough, that we got we got dead stop right after Route 3, Westchester Pike. And I said, you know what? I'm going to get out. I'm going to walk. And I walked a mile to Westchester Pike and then all the way. And I still beat you guys home.
He did. He beat us home.
So do you admit you made a poor decision?
Oh, God. I think we all made a lot of poor decisions
dude.
that
We
evening.
were drawing. I have to apologize.
All right.
You were trying to sleep, Nick, and I drew on your face. And, sorry.
He's got 32 more beaches.
I got to go through these. All right, so Strathmere's number one.
Santa's got to go.
These are highlights. Santa's got to go. Please allow me.
Santa's got to go.
All right,
I need you to stop talking.
and talk about beaches.
Number 30 is Seaside Heights, and that's the Jersey Shore.
Right.
And it says, it says Snooki warned you not to fall in love with the Jersey Shore. You won't fall in love with this beach either. It's not the cleanest or the nicest, but it'll get the job done. The boardwalk, though, absolutely incredible. It says we will accept no haters. Do yourself a favor and have a slice at Marica's and a cheesesteak at Midway.
Is Seaside like Wildwood?
Yeah, I think
the boardwalk. Okay.
Number 28 is Brigantine.
Brigantine.
It says it's remarkable how close this beach is to Atlantic City while somehow feeling many miles away. It is refreshingly mellow here, a far cry from the beach a few miles south. The juxtaposition of natural beauty surrounding with the beach of the AC skyline is jarring, but a lot of fun. Decent parking gives you a kind of long walk to the beach, but it is a pretty walk to a pretty beach.
I like Brigantine the times I've been there.
And the only knock I've heard on Brigantine are the people who live there, like full year, like all year long, that they don't like
outsiders.
And then they will chase you out with lit torches.
No, but like our friend Tim, who has a place there, he will lie. If somebody asks him if he lives there, he'll be like, "Yeah, I do," because otherwise,
really,
yeah.
Ah, man, that sucks.
Number 27 on this list is Wildwood Crest. It says, speaking of long walks on the beach, or on the beach for that matter, Wildwood Crest is filled with hotels and families vacationing in them, which makes accessing the very wide beaches hard and getting parking even harder. The beach is cleaner than Wildwood, and the vibe is way more chill. And if you're looking for a true desert to spend a full day planted in the sand, this is a solid spot, and it is free. The beaches are free there. But there's a whole lot less to do as well. It says it's funny because Casey and I were at Mudhead, this brew pub in Wildwood, and we were talking to a guy who was local who came out and saw, I was playing with the band Five Times Famous, and he was talking to us. He's like, dude, every time you guys mention Wildwood Crest, we're like, stop it. Don't let the secret out about how great this place is.
It really is a wonderful place.
All right. Then number 21 is North Wildwood. Cleaner and more relaxing. Its boisterous brother to the south. North Wildwood is perfect if you want to spend a little time at Wildwood's vaunted boardwalk, but beach time is more important to you. The parking is surprisingly good as well. The streets are pretty wide.
Are they?
In North Wildwood,
streets are wide. The problem there is that the beaches erode every single year.
They do.
And every year they have to like dredge and I mean it's pretty wild. And so you wonder why.
Wild.
Well, yeah, you wonder why Wildwood and Wildwood Crest beaches are so big. I think it's because the beaches at North Wildwood are
depositing onto them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so these are the top 44.
The top 44?
No, these are
beaches.
all 44 beaches in New
I'm
Jersey.
sorry, yeah, all 44 New Jersey
Ranked.
beaches ranked worst to best.
Right.
And this is NJ.com. We're not going through all of them, just some highlights. So
Just our beaches.
number 19 is Stone Harbor. And listen to this description. Taylor Swift fans know this beach all too well. The singer-songwriter spent her childhood here, and who can blame her? It says, the beach is gorgeous. You won't find a much better beach in your wildest dreams. The sand is great, though you'll want to shake it off before you go home.
I get it. All those are Taylor Swift songs.
And don't forget to leave a blank space in your stomach for ice cream from Springer's, another T Swift favorite.
I love Springer's.
And if you didn't get any of those puns, it says, baby, now we got bad blood. Okie dokie.
The only knock on Stone Harbor is that it's pricey.
Oh, my God, is it pricey?
It's probably the priciest.
Dude, if you go by, so in the little town there's a real estate place, and they have listings in the window.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't afford that. I can't
$8
afford
million?
that.
I mean, it's insane.
For a 3-bedroom.
Insane. The price of
Does
real
their
estate
lead
there.
realtor have googly eyes? Or is...
No, that's a different guy. But we could make this happen. All right, number 17 on the list is Avalon. It says the walk to the beach at Avalon is longer than we'd like, but the beach is nice and wide and the sand is soft and perfect for laying out. Parking isn't an issue either.
That was my beach for years.
That's
Avalon?
where my parents had a house.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
they sold it,
right?
My dad's biggest financial regret in his entire life had a house on 17th Street. It was barely a house. It was like a shack, but
Was it
Still be worth millions now.
Yeah, the property alone. You're buying the zip code. You're buying the acreage, and it was a nice place for a family to go. And my mom hates my dad for.
And not only that, he said that there was an issue because there was oil seeping up to the ground.
Yeah. I mean, what are they going to do with all
What
this
am I going to
bubbling
do
crude?
with this bubbling oil?
Nick, was it beachside or bayside?
No, it was in the middle. Okay, so it was, but you could walk to, what's it called, Circle Pizza, and I mean, look, it was Avalon. It's a great beach, and it's a really nice family town.
So we would, when we were doing our live broadcast from when we were in Y100, we would always go to Avalon.
Yes,
it was
on
very
21st.
chill, very chill.
Oh, by the way, man, Sylvester's is gone now, or at least it was going away, and that was my favorite crab cake of all time. Sylvester's is right off of 21st Street, and it had been there forever and ever and ever.
Do we need an investigative report?
No. They just went away. I guess maybe the real estate was just too lucrative, and they sold it. I don't really know,
The
but
rent is too damn high.
It made me really sad because I took you there.
Yeah, I thought it was just okay.
Which one did you get?
That's personal preference. I got the broiled like you recommended. Yeah.
No, it's the
Can you guys
fried is-
still be friends?
Fried is where it's at.
I think we can still be friends.
We can still, we're still friends.
All right.
I brought him coffee
But
this
not
morning.
as
He said
close.
thank you.
Well, he wrote it on a sticky and put it on his forehead.
Number 13 on this list is Ocean City.
Ocean City.
Previously a contender for the top spot in the rankings, Ocean City's beach itself has seen better days and now has exposed piping throughout sections.
That's so cool.
Go play on the pipe, kids. You can still find very nice stretches, though.
Lamar.
Thank you, Kathy. We got a little less than 2 minutes, a little less than 3 minutes before we're going to get to the keyword, your chance to win $1,000 plus to receive 20 money. I want to mention this again when we have that time. La Nonnas. That is another restaurant that has stopped by to promote this Netflix show called Nonnas. Actually, it's a movie. So La Nonnas brought in lasagna this morning. Casey doesn't like lasagna. Casey loves
He was just raving.
this lasagna.
Yeah.
Loved that lasagna. Now, my buddy Anthony, he was like, "Oh, you've never tried my lasagna." I tried his. I was like, "Okay, I hate this one less."
Yeah.
That lasagna, I loved. I would actually go to that restaurant and order that off the menu.
Well, these are the creme de la creme of some of the best Italian restaurants in the area.
So if you're interested in winning a $100 gift card from La Nonnas, you can text Netflix to 610-660-9333. And we'll have your chance to win that and also a month subscription to Netflix. And by the way, they are at La Nonna is a BYOB at 2nd and South. And they're treating us this morning, like I said, with a lasagna, which is an original recipe from Grandmom Nonna's Cecilia. And gnocchi and Genicetti and tiramisu to help celebrate the release of the movie. And it's a feel-good comedy, by the way, comedy drama with Vince Vaughn, Lorraine Bracco, Talia Shire, Brenda Vaccaro, Linda Cardellini, and Susan Sarandon.
And hell of a cast.
Comes out on Friday on Netflix if you're interested in seeing that.
Have you ever gone and tried someone's where they say, "I got my special recipe," and they really are telling you how great it is, and you try it and it's terrible? Like they're delivering the goods here today, what they're bringing in these restaurants. But there was my friend growing up, his mother, I make these great pumpkin cookies. Pumpkin cookies you're going to love. If you love pumpkin pie, you're going to love it. Preston, if you chewed into the outside of a pumpkin, that's what these things tasted like. They were horrible.
Were they hard?
Chalky and horrible and
that's not fun.
And I had to act like I liked them.
Yeah, that's too bad. I hate it, but you don't have to worry about that here.
No,
these guys
this is all top level.
They've got the real deal, and we have 3 restaurants coming this morning total. I'll run down the list of those guys in a little while. But it is now officially time, so we have your chance to win the money. Let's go for it.
93.3 WMMR Philadelphia.
Oh, God, I love you.
It's time for a Preston and Steve 20 Money Keyword.
All right, that keyword is vault, V-A-U-L-T. You have until 25 minutes after the hour to enter that. You can do that a number of ways. Through the MMR app at WMMR.com. Of course, you can text it as well to our special contest short code number, which is 45911. And then one random entry wins $1,000 in this company-wide contest. Each winner from MMR gets a pair of MMRBQ tickets for the show on Saturday as well. Winners will get a call from Beasley, so make sure that you answer your phone. There are contest rules available at WMMR.com. Preston and Steve's 20 Money is sponsored by United Tire and Service. So again, that word worth $1,000 right now is vault, V-A-U-L-T. Enter it now.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you this morning by Adam Home Services. Get a $59 AC tune-up guaranteed to keep your system running or your money back. You can call the pros. Call Adam, AdamHomeservices.com. Kath, this is another one I had you in mind for. I don't know if you saw this or not, but the 2025 Dance Your PhD contest, run by Science Magazine, had scientists explain their research through dance. and European scientists stole the show. It's actually, the videos are very funny,
Oh,
Kathy.
nice.
So
I
these
didn't
are
see this.
legit people who have achieved their PhD, and they make a dance video to show how they did it. Sulo Ruka from the University of Helsinki won both the chemistry category and the overall prize with a dance about how food chemicals like spicy chili or cool mint create sensations in our mouth. And he used sparkly costumes, musical theater dancers, and flashing lights to make it fun. Other winners included Priya Reddy from Germany, who danced about plant microbe teamwork, and R4 Holman from Austria, who showed off physics with laser cooling. And it may seem like an idea that came from TikTok, but actually, this contest started in 2008.
I'd never heard of this.
So they've been doing this for a long time, and the production value on some of them are really high.
Well, I was going to ask that. I said these aren't the actual researchers themselves because you're clearly professionals dancing here.
Well, I think there are dancers. But,
Are there?
But I think that you have to be in it as well.
Wow.
At some point. So
That's funny.
It's pretty
Wow.
cool. Yeah. In Oviedo, Spain, a curious neighbor noticed something odd at a house across the street and called the police. Officers found 3 young children aged 11 to 15 who had been locked inside for over 3 years by their parents, Christian and Melissa Steffen. And the parents were so scared of COVID that they kept their kids isolated, making them wear 3 masks each. The family had moved from Germany in 2021, and the kids hadn't gone to school or seen anyone else.
It's horrific.
The parents were arrested. The kids are now safe with social services. And weird stuff like this happens every now and then. You hear about these families that are kept under lock and key.
You remember the story about the guy who kept his daughter in the basement? It says, I think he was Austrian for 20 years.
Do you remember the family of boys that learned everything about the world by watching movies? And there were like 6 of them, and they were kept in the house for like 15 years or something like that.
How do you make good on that missed life?
I don't know. All right, it's a project so important that it took 3 companies to pull it off. VML, the Organoid Company.
Organoids.
And Lab Grown Leather Limited. Kathy, they have teamed up to make the world's first T-Rex leather handbag using lab-grown material.
Wow.
Yeah. They start with collagen, a protein from 80-million-year-old T-Rex fossils as a guide. The Organoid Company creates synthetic DNA from this collagen, which lab-grown leather uses to grow leather-like tissue in a lab without animals or harmful chemicals.
Is this bag the size of a T-Rex?
I don't think so.
Because that would be inconvenient.
The process doesn't try to recreate real T-Rex skin, but instead it builds a new material inspired by ancient protein structures.
What I hear is, Preston, if you move a road flare back and forth, the pocketbook will follow you around.
This T-Rex leather is cruelty-free, eco-friendly, and mimics the strength and feel of real leather. The handbag set to launch later this year will be a luxury item with a high price tag.
No kidding, yeah.
Which is no surprise since it's a dinosaur accessory. It's the first time anyone has made leather inspired by an extinct species, blending old dinosaur biology with new technology for sustainable fashion.
Wait until they start selling knockoff D-Rex bags on the street.
Listen to this. The National Weather Service offices around the country are on guard after recent threats to agency infrastructure, specifically Doppler weather radars. And the threats are coming from a violent militia-style group. Emails from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Security Office show. The group, Veterans on Patrol, which the Southern Poverty Law Center defines as an anti-government militia organization, views the NWS's network of Doppler radars as weather weapons. The North Atlantic Atmospheric Administration Security Office noted that they were aware of several encounters, physically or virtually, with the Veterans on Patrol. They said this group is advocating for anyone and everyone to join them in conducting penetration drills on sites to identify weaknesses that can be used to ultimately destroy the sites. The group, referred to as NexRad Systems Towers, they referred to them as weather weapons and claimed that there were no laws preventing American citizens from destroying the weapons.
What are these weapons supposed to do when they're activated?
It's unclear what the group believes the radars are doing. Yeah, predict the weather. Yeah,
son of a
so
bitch.
it's unclear what they
We
believe.
got people over here
The radars
predicting the weather.
The NexRad, or Next Generation Radar Network, has been in place since the 1990s and detects precipitation in the atmosphere.
They're talking about rain, people.
They can also help pinpoint tornadoes and severe thunderstorms, prompting
They're going to advise you whether or not you should wear a sweater.
prompting timely life-saving warnings. The system is also used by the FAA and the Air Force.
Of all those things, those structures, the Doppler radar, it's usually a dome.
Yeah.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so too. Among other actions, security offices advise that the NWS implement a buddy system when working at remote sites and be alert for suspicious activity.
Do you know what I'd do? I would disguise them as mini sphere performance centers.
The FBI and other law enforcement authorities are aware of militia-style groups' activities and are tracking them. The security threat comes at a time of turmoil for the NWS, when many offices short-staffed due to hundreds of administration layoffs and early retirements as well. So this is a bad time for this type of thing to be happening. All right, and then we'll do one more story and we will wrap it up. Let's end with this one. A referee in North Carolina was arrested after firing a concealed weapon inside a youth sports athletic facility.
What could go wrong?
Yeah. Deputies who were already on the scene to act as security arrested 49-year-old Ernest Davis at the scene. Davis was working as a referee for a youth sporting event when he fired the weapon that had been concealed in his gym bag.
I lost my whistle.
Officials said the crowd was filled with parents and children. Fortunately, no one was struck and no one was hurt. Davis has been charged with carrying a concealed weapon and discharging a firearm into an occupied area. And there you go. That is what I have in the bizarre file for you this morning. All right, we got about just a couple minutes before Steve Amell is going to be joining us. So let me see what we can chat about, friends.
Oh, you know what, man?
Something I need to give some love to, Case.
Yeah. We got another big friggin' deal going on right now.
That I would like to share with you.
This is really cool.
These are always great to take advantage of, these big friggin' deals. And then they are what they say they are.
Yeah.
I meant to talk about this a while back.
What is this?
I got an email, and I heard that these guys were going to be coming on as a client. I have not been there. I have not seen this as of yet, but the name alone has got me. It's a place in Westchester called Treehouse World.
Oh, man.
Come on, man.
Treehouse World?
Yeah, Treehouse World.
I've always wanted an adult, I'm talking pornography, an adult treehouse.
Yeah, they've been there for a while.
Have they?
Yeah.
Is that what these are?
No, these are, it's like zip lines and exploring, but it's up in trees.
Yeah, I love that.
So
I love to be up in trees.
Kath, have you been there?
So I haven't been there. I do think, though, that, there is like a zip line course and stuff, but I do think that there's a lot of stuff for little kids. I remember when Jace was little.
Yeah, so these are like playhouses.
Oh, we're looking at video.
Ones.
Yeah.
And there's lots of them. And I guess some of them are up in trees and they have that, kind of treehouse vibe to them. But how cool does this look?
They have a goat.
And so we're looking at a news story right now, video of it, and they have a goat there. So you can get a $50 pass to Treehouse World in Westchester for just $25. Zip line, climb, and explore for half the price.
Is it okay for adults to go by themselves? I want to check this out.
Come on, yes. Yeah. You can get this exclusive offer while supplies last at WMMR.com/deals. And that's usually the way the big freaking deal works is usually half off, 50%. So make sure that you take advantage of this. So, yeah, Steve, when you were a kid, did you guys ever have the opportunity to build tree houses?
Oh, God, yeah. And we had one. There was a perfect tree. My neighbor had it, and it was at the top of a hill. I remember, by the way, President, all of us jumping out, like we were 13 or 14. Someone had told us that virtually every squirrel you encounter has rabies. And so, erroneously so. But yeah, we loved that treehouse. It was a platform and, it had a couple of walls. It was cool.
Yeah, ours, the ones that we would build didn't have any walls. They were just essentially just a platform up in trees. So you'd need 3 trees that were in the right position. And essentially we would build a triangle with 2x4s and then slats across. The first girl I ever kissed was in a treehouse.
That's like a movie.
It was cool. Yeah, we were playing Truth or Dare. We were spending the night.
That's beautiful.
And of course, we're up in this tree, sleeping.
Yes.
There are no walls.
You're gonna roll
in
out,
a tree.
Oh my God.
One of us did roll out at one point. It might have been me. I just vaguely remember that. But yeah, that was important, man. First girl I ever kissed.
Do you know so one of the creators of The Simpsons, or one of the people involved with The Simpsons, I forget who he was specifically, but he had this. He replicated the Treehouse of Terror, Bart's treehouse, in his backyard, and would invite, neighbors to hold, parties there and so on and so forth. The town made him take it down, the HOA or whatever for the and it was, but everyone loved it. But to me, that's such a wonderful. It's a childhood thing, but it also appeals to just being up in a tree.
Michael Giacchino at his house, because
Yeah.
we went there years ago in Los Angeles. He had essentially a kind of tree house, and it wasn't actually in a tree, but it was, it was badass.
Yeah.
It was like right out of Indiana Jones because it had a swinging bridge.
Oh man.
A rope bridge with the slats across it that you had to, as you went across it, it kind of waggled around.
best. Yeah.
And inside of it were, hammocks.
Yeah.
And all kinds of the stuff you would find in an Indiana Jones movie, like your jungle stuff. It
If
was
you're not
awesome.
attracted to tree houses, hammocks, and swinging rope bridges, I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah. My neighbor behind me growing up had a tree house, and this thing, I only went up on it a couple of times because it was so far off the ground. It was terrifying to get in and out of, especially getting out of it, because you would climb up the ladder along the tree trunk and then in through the bottom of the...
They should be fun as opposed to terrifying.
I mean, it was... I mean, you miss a step, you're done.
Yeah.
That was it.
By the way, our ladder to get up into the treehouse were just other 2x4s that we had cut down and nailed
in.
onto the tree.
Yeah, that's old school.
So safe.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Totally safe,
the nails were safe. That would rip out and penetrate your neck.
God, man. That's something that...
Zip lines as a kid. I mean, the first zip line I put up, I wore that friggin' thing off. I mean, all of that stuff. Is it a rite of passage that you have to be into zip lines and all this stuff? Because
anything like
I don't
that.
know anyone who says they don't like this.
Do you guys ever have a grappling hook?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh, I wish I did. I mean, I had a toy one with my Star Wars Death Star that I had, but no, a real grappling hook.
I bought it from Army Surplus.
Yeah.
There used to be an Army Surplus store in Northport, Long Island.
Yep.
And I bought it, and I threw it up a couple times and snapped a couple branches, and I said, "This goddamn thing doesn't work."
But I mean, honestly, what can you do with it?
You could just walk up the steps if you want to get to the,
Yeah.
or just put out a ladder. But in concept, it's cool.
You don't have the upper body strength to pull yourself up the side of a house.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I wasn't. So my friend had a grappling hook, and then my other friends, I had ninja stars and nunchucks, and I wasn't allowed to have those either.
Did you have an Army Surplus store when you?
Like an I Goldberg? Is that what that was, Nick? Was that Army Surplus?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But we had an Army Navy store. There was one in Paoli. It was at the corner of South Valley Road and Route 30. And
Didn't you love going in there?
Yeah, and it was like there's treasure. There's stuff from different eras and different wars, and it was cool to peruse.
Yeah, Case. We used to have the shurikens, those stars, or we'd make them in shop too.
Oh my God!
They were the tin
in
snips.
metal shop, in metal shop, the corner cutter, right? The device.
Yeah, sure.
And then always above that were about 50 flying
ceiling?
stars in the ceiling. Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so
Good times.
Stephen Amell has not called us yet.
That's fine. I didn't want to talk to him anyway.
Yeah, fine.
No, actually, we do need to take a break, so we're going to go ahead and do that. But keep in mind, big freaking deal, Treehouse World. You get a $50 pass for just $25. So go to WMMR.com and go WMMR.com/deals, and you'll find it right there. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back in a second, and a lesson question, trash, music, news. Those are on the way. No questioning how incredible Ocean City's throwback boardwalk is, featuring Gillian's Wonderland Pier, Playland's Castaway Cove, and delicious Coors Brothers frozen custard, among other attractions.
I always went to Ocean City. It is not the beach that I knew growing up. Like, they had these awesome little jetties that would, Steve, they would create these little pools, and you could find starfish. Those things don't exist anymore. They just...
It's over.
It's over.
I like their boardwalk.
Yeah, it's a
I
nice.
think it's really nice.
There's not a lot of undeveloped area.
Give me these starfish.
It's so crowded.
Where's the starfish?
It is.
Yeah, they develop every single available acreage there, and it's a city, so I guess that's why they do it. But it's a little frustrating.
And they go up really high with their
Yes, they do.
properties.
Like
it's
3-4 stories
Jersey
that can
has
go up there.
In general, Jersey has some, and a large part due to the shore stuff, the highest valued real estate in the country. Yes.
Yeah, but like in towns like Cape May, like there's still a lot of green space, So in Ocean City, there's just not.
Nick, I've gone to Ocean City. A friend of mine has a house there, and I've gone, and I called her once, and I was like, I'm leaving because I can't find parking.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, this is ridiculous. And fortunately, she has a large driveway, so she was like, no. I'll pull my car in the garage. You come into the driveway. But I mean, it was so crowded that I'm like, I literally can't find parking within walking distance of your house.
all right. I've only got 4 more I'm going to point out because we're getting into the top 10 here. So number 6 on this list. Number 6. Number 6. We don't have those, do we? Still?
Yeah, we do.
That's all right. Sea Isle City.
Sea Isle City.
Yep. It says a big, beautiful beach, gorgeous dunes to admire, plenty of soft sand to stretch out on. Less than ideal parking is the only real drawback.
Number 6.
There is a paved promenade instead of a boardwalk to stroll down, and Fish Alley is loaded with a plethora of tantalizing seafood and Italian food options.
So Nick had mentioned earlier that it sort of attracts the younger crowd, and
Sea Isle City.
Well, yeah, but not anymore. I've said this for years. So they're actually closing a lot of those party spots, and they're building nicer restaurants that are attracting more families, a little bit of an older crowd. So it's still a really fun city to go to, but that I think that like drunken 20-year-old, although there are still some there, they're sort of pushing them out.
Another drunken 60-year-olds.
I mean,
is this a good pound cake place in town?
Pretty much, but the thing about Sea Isle that I love the most is once you get there, because they say that parking isn't the greatest there. I mean, it's not in any of the beach towns, but once you park, you don't ever have to move. You can go for a weekend, you can go for a full week. You don't have to move.
You're there, locked and loaded.
They have the jitney that goes up and down the entire town, and you don't. I mean, that's what I like the best about it is I literally never drive the car once I get there.
That's cool. Steve, you and I are wheel watchers, and I've noticed recently that there's a Sea Isle City campaign. It's not Jersey Shore.
Yes,
it's
no,
not,
you're right.
and it's just focuses exclusively on one town, which I find to be interesting that they have enough ad dollars to focus a tourism campaign on just that one city. But yeah, they're focusing on it.
I know they have a primo hoagie, so there we go.
Yeah, all right.
All right,
there.
down to number 4 now.
Number 4.
It's time for number 4.
Well, it's Cape May Point.
Cape May Point.
Oh my God, is it beautiful there?
Is it?
It says while there isn't as much to do at Cape May as its Eastern Brother Beach as far as boardwalk activities and food options, that also means less crowds to compete with. And that means that the just about same idyllic sands with way more real estate. It's a bit of a hike to get from the street to the beach, but it's a beautiful walk through the dunes and trees.
This looks the picture we're looking at looks very lovely, and it has a lighthouse.
Yes, there's a exactly. The beach itself is so raw and secluded that you hardly feel like you're at the Jersey Shore. It is pretty quiet there.
It is, and it's definitely one of the appealing factors. That used to be my vacation spot for a number of years. I love Cape May Point. There was a store there called the Red Store, and it was a great restaurant, and I believe it's closed. I think they closed during the pandemic, and they have not reopened. It's a really cool little spot right in the section, right in the middle part of that part of town, and there's nothing that's gone in to replace it, which is a shame.
So I like how all you guys know all these locations and all the places to eat. Like, so I guess part of the process growing up here would have been to migrate to sample all the towns. Was that kind of the thing?
We would vacation in a couple of the towns,
Okay.
and you sort of get your feel and what you like. And the thing is too is like once you finally get your town, like where you like to go, that's really the only one. And there,
So that's the process, though. You sample and then you decide what town's your town. And that's that.
Yeah, as a kid, we went to Ocean City, we went to Wildwood Crest,
Right.
and where you land is like your beach town. No one can convince you otherwise.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there's an ownership thing, it seems.
Is
I'm
there?
picking up
Totally.
on.
Oh, for sure.
I'm
Especially
being
if you legitimately own property, right?
I'm being indoctrinated into this. There's a pride of what your town is, what your beach is, and all that stuff.
I think if I won the lottery, I'd buy a place in Cape May Point. That's my favorite town, I think.
All right, number 2 on this.
Oh,
That's a little more aggressive.
What happened to that?
That's from Hamilton, by the way. Those are the 10 rules of dueling.
Casey Kasem is Alexander Hamilton.
All right, number 2 is Cape May.
All right.
Cape May.
Number 1 beach in New Jersey for 3 years running is finally dethroned. It says, but let's be honest, the beach at exit 0 on the Garden State Parkway is basically 1A. Perfect sand, picturesque boardwalk, dining options that make the town one of the state's top food designations, and blocks of gorgeous Victorian architecture make the long trip down to the state's southern tip well worth it. So, all right, and then number 1. I'm not familiar with Beach Haven.
It's on LBI.
According to NJ.com. Okay.
Beach Haven.
Yeah. It says, for the first time in the history of our rankings, a new number 1 takes the crown. Beach Haven has been knocking on the door for a long time, finishing in the top 4 every year. One of the southernmost beaches on Long Beach Island is knocking no more. It's here. The mellow vibe combined with pristine beach. Some of the best surrounding food and entertainment in the state make it truly perfect beach destination. Any of you guys ever been there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
LBI is
That's
interesting
good.
because there's I think just the one way in and out. And so when you get onto that island, you then have to make a decision. You going north or you going south? And it's a long drive. Like when you get to Wildwood Crest or the Wildwoods, there's a bunch of different ways to get onto that island.
Yes.
I believe with LBI, there's just the one, and it's just it makes it interesting.
Wow. I would imagine it makes it a long trip to get off.
As you
of
can
there
imagine.
when you need to.
This was our day trip spot. Like as a kid in high school, where we would go with our friends. This is where we would go. I don't know what traffic is like now, but when we were going in high school, we were fine. It wasn't too bad getting there.
What's the most northern beach in New Jersey?
Isn't it the one where the nude beach is? That Sandy Hook? Because we've talked about that a couple times. No, like you can see Manhattan
that's a little
from
further north.
Yeah, you got to keep going, Steve. That's Massachusetts.
Oh, right.
Yeah. That's near Boston.
Okay, I've heard.
But we've talked about that nude beach in Sandy Hook more than once. And Case, you can see Manhattan from there. You can see the Freedom Tower.
That's got to be pretty cool. By the way, Marissa handed me this note. She was at the Dinner on Blanc in Atlantic City over the weekend, and she learned that MTV is filming Jersey Shore 2.0 in AC this summer. And
That's
she found
pretty
the house.
wild.
She took a picture of it and posted it on social media. Yeah.
Maybe we should audition.
Maybe we should.
I was in New York on Long Island this past weekend at a place called Nickerson Beach, and just the difference between the beaches, like our Jersey Shore and there, it's just like it's completely different. I mean, it was beautiful, and I loved it there, but just the difference, I was like,
Yeah. No, so growing up on Long Island, we had all of the, you had your beaches. We had a multitude of beaches, and you eventually settled on your one.
But just even the way they do, even the way they go to the beach is different than us.
Absolutely.
Well, I realized that we didn't do the city beat here. We did the beach bum. Because that's all we have time for.
Wasn't even the city beat.
I apologize. I have more city beat stories. Maybe we'll get to them in a little while. So I guess this has been the beach bum. I don't know, which I just made up. Or have we had that character before?
No. We can do the beach bum.
No, we
Absolutely.
did. Yeah, because we even had theme music for it.
Did we?
Yeah, it was.
Was it Wipeout?
It might have been
Was
like
it the
Miserlou.
bird?
It might have been a Dick Dale song.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, anyhow, that's NJ.com. The full article they have on their website, but it's all 44 New Jersey beaches ranked worst to best for.
And number one again?
For this year. Number one.
Beach Haven.
Beach Haven, yeah.
LBI.
But more in our area, Cape May came in at number two, which is it's been number one many times before. All right. With that, let's take a break. Come back in just a moment because I got some bizarre file stories I think you shall enjoy. Stay with us. Kathy, I saw this article this morning, and it was in the Daily Mail. And who was it? Tracy Cox is her name, believe it or not. Yeah, she's like a relationship advice columnist.
Out of England, correct?
Out of England, correct. And I saw this article. So it's, obviously online dating, using apps and all that stuff is very easy to, peruse. But then again, you might be hesitant on that type of thing.
You want to do it old school.
She had come up with some ideas on how and where to meet men if you're, like in your 30s or something like that. That age range is kind of where she's targeting. But out in the real world.
Yes.
Like some good places and what to do. And I was like, okay, I'll take a look at this. And there's some good practical advice here. But it goes on to later on describe, and I'll get to it at the end, of how to tell when a man is interested in you. Secret signs that he's ready for sex, which I found very, very fun. But I wanted to go through some of these other things.
Locations where you can meet men. So we're trying to help out the ladies who are guys.
Well, that's where you messed up, son. You can't go to no bar to find a nice woman. You got to go to a nice place, a quiet place like a library. There's a good woman there.
Church.
And at church is good girls.
Yep.
Or this place here, where I'm going tonight, the Black Awareness Rally, there's going to be some fine women there. Good, clean girls. That's where I'm going.
I love that scene so
It's
much.
great.
Anything that takes place in Mighty Sharp in that shop is just gold. For those who have never seen Coming to America, that's what that is. All right, it's 10:25. Today is Wednesday morning and a beautiful, beautiful day, man. It just looks crisp and gorgeous out there. How clear everything is. We got a beautiful, beautiful day with a high of about 76 and mostly partly cloudy skies, and then tomorrow pretty much the same thing, even the smidge warmer. Friday's the only kind of suck of the next few days.
If we get the suck out of the way on Friday, we're good.
Yeah, rain and high of only 63, but Saturday, barbecue, and we're setting our sights on that. 74 degrees and partly cloudy skies. It's wonderful.
It's a perfect day to go watch Paige Sporanic on the golf course. I'm lucky enough to go over to the Truist Pro-Am this afternoon, so I'm going to go over with some friends, and there's a few YouTube stars that are going to be there, including Paige.
Yeah, so So-
wear something sexy.
Yes.
and just,
Yeah.
just
So
to try to
she's not
entice.
part of the program, right? She's part of the Creators Cup.
Yeah, and I think
that
they
have.
kind of
Yeah.
all blend in with one another. They bring in a bunch of different celebrities. Actually, I think Jason Kelsey's there too.
Yes,
but,
he is.
So yeah, and she's doing this with this trick golf guy who's from our area. His name's Josh Kelly, I believe.
I thought we were having him on.
Yeah, we were, and then he had to go to Oakmont. He's like Happy Gilmore, Preston. Like he goes from course to course, and that's how he makes his living. So he was only able to call in, and I was like, I'd like you to come in and show us some trick shots.
Okay.
So, but he'll come in another time if we want.
I've been at outings where they hire somebody who comes by and does demos like that.
That's cool.
And they'll hit a golf ball through a watermelon and you know, do all these crazy things.
That's the
It's
stuff he
cool.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, she actually did a video, I think, before with him, Paige had, because she has a YouTube channel, and yeah, obviously she's pleasant on the eyes, but she's, I don't even golf, but it's informative. Anybody who looks to improve anything that they do as a hobby. But Preston, through that, I fell down one of those holes of, maybe it's not funny to golfers, but that exploding bullet bomb sound golf ball, that is effing hilarious. Yeah. To see the reaction, it actually, a regular golfer will hit the ball and it sounds like something
Like a gunshot.
Yeah.
I do have a trick shot in my arsenal, Nick. What I'll do is I'll aim forward, and then when I hit the ball, it goes completely to the right.
It's so funny.
So you're looking in a direction, and it appears that you want to play a good game of golf, but you don't.
I don't.
Right.
Yeah. There's another one where I have a 2-foot putt, and I hit the ball 5 feet past the hole.
Yeah.
It's
So
people don't see that coming.
to the casual observer, it looks like you're trying to sink it, but you're trying to way overshoot it.
Actually, one time Casey and I took a golf trip to Florida, and these two guys got in our group, and I think it was those really boring guys from Michigan or what. But anyway,
It wasn't Hot Carl.
But no, it wasn't Hot Carl. That was in Disney. Anyway, so Casey had literally a 2-foot tap in putt, and Casey walks in and he goes, "All right, if I can just make this one." And he takes the putter and he took a full swing at it, and I mean sent it 50 yards.
Like, I hit a little too hard. Damn it. Oh.
It was really funny. It was very funny. So you do have a trick or two up your sleeve. All right, today's lesson question. We are going to give away a pair of tickets as MMR Rocks Theo Vaughn at Wells Fargo Center.
It's a bit of Cosby.
Wednesday, July 9th. All right, the question that we ask you is this. What did Eddie Vedder name the cat that was buried underneath the sod? There's a couple answers you could get. I have two of them, actually. Let's see if you know. And if you know, let me take some time here and tell you how you can answer this question. You got to text the word Zoom to 610-660-9333. Because you see, our phones don't work.
And what happens is there's a whole gauntlet of things that need to take place. In the future, we will talk to people at great distances through a little device called a telephone.
Kaz was a soothsayer.
He was.
But yeah, we haven't had phones for a couple months now. So what you do is you text the word Zoom, usually, to 610-660-9333.
And pull over if you're driving, because it's a miracle we haven't killed people yet. And participating in contests while they're motoring down the highway at 70 miles an hour.
And we'll send you a link, and you can click on it and possibly join us. So what did Eddie Vedder name the cat that was buried underneath the sod? Let's do the trash.
The trash business is a gold mine.
93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
All right, brought to you by Coors Banquet. Join the Preston and Steve Show live from Keenan's in North Wildwood Friday, May 23rd for the official opening of the Jersey Shore from Coors Banquet. Start your summer. Start your legacy. What's going on this morning, Steve?
Well, Preston, rapper Finesse 2 times is back in federal custody after violating his supervised release 3 times for failing 2 drug tests and for threatening to kill someone. Finesse says he knows he got off to a shaky start, but believes he's really got it this time. Kaya Nicole saying she's tired of just being known as Travis Kelce's ex. Nicole says if people took the time to know her, they would see she is so much less.
Oh my God.
And finally, Amazon MGM Studios is moving ahead with the sequel to Jason Statham's The Beekeeper. Director Timo Tahanto says Beekeeper 2 will pick right up where the first film left off, with most people regretting having seen it. That's your Hollywood Trash.
All right, we're going to go via Zoom to listener Tom and check in with him. Hey, Tom. Morning, buddy.
What's up, dude?
All right, let's try that again. You were breaking up. What did you say, Tom? All right, looks like he's completely frozen, man. That sucks. We have to give Tom the opportunity to answer this question because he is on and did link up with us, but looks like he's still frozen. But you see, someday we're going to have this technology.
In the future, people will talk across great distances using, I envision a device you can hold in your hand.
All right, now
Your
we got him.
vision is great.
Tom, can you hear me, man?
Dude, what's going on?
Yo, buddy. All right, so what did Eddie Vedder name the cat that was buried underneath the sod?
I believe his name was Bro.
Bro! That's correct, yes. Hold on, man. We would have also accepted Pancake. But we're going to go with Bro. And since you got it right, buddy, we are going to give you a pair of tickets. MMR Rocks Theo Vaughn at the Wells Fargo Center. Wednesday, July 9th, and tickets go on sale Friday via Ticketmaster. For more information, you can head to WMMR.com.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, and Music News is brought to you by Family and Company Jewelers. You can get the perfect gift for the mom in your life. Browse the huge selection of gifts at every price point. Route 70 in Marlton or at familyjewelers.com, South Jersey's diamond destination. Speaking of diamonds, Diamond David Lee Roth has announced a run of U.S. dates for this summer.
Do you think, with what you've been hearing recently, do you think you would entertain taking that in?
Nah.
I
don't think so. But, I mean, here's the deal. I saw part of one song, and it sounded better than I have heard or seen from Dave in the past. Whether he does a whole show like that or not, I'm not sure.
So when he had his solo stuff right after Van Halen, and when he had the top flight musicians playing with him,
Steve Vai, and
right,
Greg Bissonette, and Billy Sheehan.
Did you ever see any of that?
No, not. I've never seen footage of the day. I just saw the videos.
Right,
the music videos. So that's a good question. I wonder how he handled that. If maybe his solo stuff, if maybe he gave a little more reverence to it.
Right.
I don't know, but I'm guessing probably not. So he returned to the stage with a set of Van Halen songs at M3 Rock Festival in Columbia, Maryland on Saturday. He's going to play 13 shows in July and August, and 2 of them are going to be in our general area. August 8th in AC at the Hard Rock Live at Edis Arena. And then he's going to be in Bethlehem at the Wind Creek Event Center. Tickets for the new shows will go on general sale in May 9th. He did in 2022 was doing a farewell tour thing, but COVID was underway and some shows had to get canceled, and it was just a difficult time, obviously. So he's gonna take it out for a spin.
Yeah, it was COVID.
But but we'll see. We'll see if this sparks more interest in him getting back out on the road. Halsey has announced that they've got a new single coming out, and they're putting it out with the help of Amy Lee of Evanescence. The singer has confirmed their next single, called Hand That Feeds, drops this Friday and is being released for the upcoming film Ballerina, the John Wick spinoff with Ana de Armas. And Halsey has been a documented fan of Evanescence since they were a kid. While promoting their album, The Great Impersonator, last year, Halsey even dressed up as Amy Lee while cosplaying as 18 of their musical heroes, and called Lee the, quote, OG dark rock queen. So that's pretty cool. And then finally, with just 2 months to go until Black Sabbath performs their final ever live show, founding bassist Geezer Butler has admitted to some intense anxieties ahead of the gig. The band's final performance will take place in Birmingham, England on July 5th. And you'll see the band's classic lineup for the first time in 2 decades, with the likes of Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax, Alice in Chains, myriad of others. I believe Hailstorm is on board for that, so a lot of big ones. Butler admitted that while he's unsure of how the performance will roll out or how Ozzy's health may affect the show, the lofty expectations behind such a gig have left him feeling immensely anxious. He said, I'm already having palpitations. In fact, I had a nightmare last night. I dreamed everything went wrong on stage, and we all turned to dust.
Wow, that's pretty profound.
He said it's important that we leave a great
It's not too far from the truth, though.
impression since it's the final time that people will experience this live. So it has to be great on that night. Now, Ozzy pointed out that Black Sabbath are not planning on performing a full-length set. He said, we're only playing a couple of songs each. He said, I don't want people thinking we're getting ripped off because it's just got to be kind of a sample.
We're going to do the first part, and then we're going to bring the Wiggles up on stage.
He said you're going to get a few songs each by Ozzy and Sabbath. Though Ozzy has noted he's been undergoing extensive training as part of his preparation for the show, the end result will undoubtedly be far different from what fans have hoped for, but as much as he can handle given his health condition. He said, I'm used to doing 2 hours on stage, jumping and running around. He said, I don't think I'm going to be doing much jumping and running around this time. I may be sitting down. But the point is, I'll be there, and I'll do the best that I can, so all I can do is turn up.
Is jumping and running around being genuine? Because I've heard for many years, and hardcore Ozzy fans would go and love the shows, but that he remained fairly
last couple of years.
Position,
he just kind of lurched around would probably be the proper
Last time I saw him, he had a cane, stood by the microphone. He sang, you know, and I guess it was a show, but there was not a lot of movement happening.
Yeah. All right, and that's it in music news. So we're going to take one more break. We'll come back in a second. We will wrap up our program for the day. And I want to remind you, if you have not done this yet, we have your chance to win a $100 gift card to one of our 3 restaurants, Le Nonna's, Cafe Carmela's, or Ristorante Pesto. And that is courtesy of the new Netflix show Nonna's, which is streaming this Friday. And not only can you win a $100 gift card, but also a month of Netflix as well for free. So text the word Netflix to 610-660-9333, and you'll be in the running for it. All right, we'll take a break. Come back in a second. Letter of the day, word of the week, prize, and more. Stay with us. Where to meet men, she says. All right, so not, and like he says at the beginning of that clip, you can't go to no bar.
Well, you messed up, son. You can't go to no bar to find a nice woman. You got to go to a nice place.
All right, so
a library.
Instead of the bars, here are the suggestions. So, exercising, she says, but Pilates, probably not going to turn up too many prospects. So you don't want to go to yoga, Pilates, things like that. If you're interested in meeting a guy, chances are you need to go somewhere else like a gym, boot camp style classes, and running clubs and things like that.
So her suggestion of a boot camp made sense to me. Like in a gym, a lot of times I would think, and Kathy, obviously, and you and Marissa can speak to this more, but I think you're working with other people, you know, whereas at a gym you're on your equipment and you don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, you need some sort of class or like CrossFit. It always seems to be like that family feel, and you get to know people, you become friends with them.
And if you're just starting, you can have a heart attack in public. That's always a benefit.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Kathy, have you ever been hit on or approached in a gym? Because, it's really like, you should never do that if you're a guy. It's just it's rule number 1, but it still happens.
I don't know. I don't think he was hitting on me, but actually, he's a listener of the show, and he ended up telling me. And we used to call him Superman because he used to wear a Superman shirt to the gym. He's probably listening now. I don't think he was hitting on me, but he once said to me, he's like, "I'm practically doing flips over there." He's like, "And you're not even looking over at me."
Wow.
But he was like super. He was very fit. He would do pull-ups and like flip up over the bar.
Right.
And, we always like kind of smiled at him because he was like, he drew attention to himself in the gym. And I would do a class with a group of girls, and so we'd be like, Superman's over there.
All right, she also recommends going to your local park. Go to the park. It says post-pandemic,
go to the park.
Parks are the new cool place to be, but don't just go for a walk. Sit on a bench. Resist the urge to drag out your phone and simply look around you. Make eye contact with anyone you like the look of and stay put. If they like you, they'll find a reason to walk past again within the next 5 or 10 minutes.
So I saw a woman in the park the other day. She had a shopping cart with a lot of what appeared to be her belongings in it. Was she on the prowl?
She might have been, Steve.
She was sending out the vibes to you, bro.
Was I getting hit on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did she tell you? Did she walk up and say, "Give me $1"?
Yeah, I want $1.
But I don't know. Maybe she was interested. Steve, who knows? All right, taking the dog for a walk. So if you have a pet, or if you want to borrow one, it gives people the perfect excuse to approach you. And that that is actually guys use that.
It's an
tactic
icebreaker
as well, most definitely.
What was the Janine Garofalo film that was really
Truth About Cats and Dogs?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I took my dog to, and I didn't realize this, but Cape May has like a little town center walk, and I took Reggie there, and I mean, people went crazy for him.
The amount of tail you got was crazy, right?
Well, I mean, but you're talking about this, Preston. I think it's weirder and harder for a guy to approach a woman in public.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yes.
Like,
But I mean,
I don't want to scare you.
If you want these, I think, provide, to Preston's point and the point of the article, these provide you a more viable, unless you're like what they used to classically refer to as a masher. If you legitimately would like to speak to a woman and start a line of conversation.
Well, here's the thing. These are just the places to go to. Now, your technique that you use.
Like, you can't just whip it out.
When you get there is a different story.
Hey, nibble my shack.
Right.
I love this dog.
No, it's
walk.
bag.
Right.
Nibble my bag.
Nibble my bag.
I like sack works, too.
It's actually better.
even better.
Actually, that was Gerald Ford's line.
Oh, okay. All right.
Nibble my bag.
Places you may want to go, ladies, to places where men outnumber women. This is if you're indeed interested in a man, that is. So.
Vasectomy center.
Chances are going to be more men than women there. So she says a local pub rather than the glitzy bar that attracts girls looking, hopefully, out from behind a cocktail. A gym that has a heavy weights section rather than one that targets the yoga crowd, which kind of goes back to that first thing we said.
So you don't want to go to a real meathead gym. If you go to, I think, like a CrossFit or like a lot of women are into now getting into sort of the more powerlifting line for a good exercise. So that might be a good option.
But a pub rather than a meat market bar.
Right.
So I saw this Instagram video not that long ago, and it was advertising Kavanaugh's. And I love Kavanaugh's. This is a great place. But it was for their nightlife, and it was showing off what a cool club it is at night. And they clearly not aimed towards me in their demographic, but it was people in their 20s, all good looking, all having a really great time. And I was just like, it boggles my mind that anybody ever goes to places like that to meet, and they do. I just don't know how anyone ever is able to actually have a conversation, or if that doesn't matter whatsoever.
There is, and I know completely what you're saying.
I mean, I'm 46,
even then, though, when you want to communicate and it's so loud or so
I've never gotten
cacophonous, and that
I used to do that. I mean, it was hard, but I used to totally be in the clubs all the time.
Did you lean in and do the yelling thing?
Yeah, totally. You would have to
I like you!
Yeah, you would have to yell. We were doing shots, and it was a different atmosphere. I mean,
what are you reading these days?
Yeah. That's what we talked about.
I have a dog. It doesn't stink. It's called Blue Emu. It's great for joint pain, but you can't smell it. So William Devane advises we invest in gold.
Advice? Other places?
I use a jitterbug phone because the display is much bigger.
Wait, what?
The jitterbug! When the grandkids call.
Ladies can go to meet men if you're looking to actually meet in person and not be at a bar where you're screaming like that. She recommends a rally. So you're not going to be waiting long to join one. This weekend, Extinction Rebellion march through central London. Plenty of climate-aware, smiley hippie types out in force if you were looking. So there's always some type of a gathering of types. You can find those. All right, Steve, this one, she actually recommends a hardware store.
A hardware store.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I'll tell you what, I've met a lot of great guys at hardware stores. I always have questions.
I've
and I'm
been
like,
with Casey. I've told you before. I have been with Casey in a hardware store where he just goes up to random people.
Yeah. They're not random. They're
Explain.
random to you, but
They're people you've never met before that don't work there. They're random
I have
people.
eyed these people up. I have judged them by the way they look. They are not random. I'm like, this guy looks like he can help me out, right?
Just friends you haven't
and
met
he'll walk
yet.
up and say something like, "Hey, you look like you know how to build a fence."
Yeah.
How to put in a ceiling fan.
Yeah, stuff like that, and then he'll ask questions about and
let's
strike
say-
up a conversation, and that is a great way. And I know you've hooked up with a lot of guys.
A lot of guys that way. I had a guy come over last summer.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was great, man. I love what you did with your tongue, but I'm married. I know you're married. We can't do this.
Don't catch any feelings.
Don't get attached. I'm a loose cannon.
She said they attract lots of men, and you got plenty of excuses to strike up a conversation. Can you help me choose which picture or glue or paint I
I
need?
can do that for you.
Yes, we all know women are just as good at do-it-yourself, but a bit of pretending won't make you a traitor to feminism.
3 testicles.
No, I'm just looking for a ceiling fan. I could see. So it isn't. Yeah, that could work.
You'd have to hang around all day.
You're like
I've seen
a Home Depot hooker.
I've seen people in hardware stores, and I'm one of those people. Scorpions on 93.3 WMMR. Rock you like a hurricane. 10:48. Man, yesterday, not a hurricane, but I was in a hailstorm yesterday. We could have played the band Hailstorm.
That blew my mind when you said that.
My buddy Jim and I were playing golf, and a thunderstorm came through, and they blow the horn. That means get the hell off the golf course. So we went into the clubhouse, and so we're grabbing a bite to eat because you're going to have to wait a little while. And sure enough, man, hail starts falling and filling up the golf course. It was pretty wild. Hadn't seen a hailstorm in a long time.
So when hail falls down on a golf course, I assume the play becomes entirely a different thing, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we had to wait it out. Anytime there's severe weather, they pull you off. And I just made this amazing shot.
Yeah.
Casey, 125 yards out, 2-tier green, par 5, third shot, put it 4 feet from the hole.
Get out.
It was awesome.
Oh, I love that.
Put it right up on the top shelf, man, and then
you
gotta be kidding
Did you leave
me.
the ball there?
No, I marked it.
Okay.
And then we came back and I missed the putt. But I got a par.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. But it was it was pretty wild to see hail. Hadn't seen that in a while. I would like to thank our guests for being on the program this morning. First of all, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame CEO, Greg Harris.
Yeah.
Philly guy through and through. Checked in with him, not only talking about the inductees and all the Philadelphia connections, but also the fact they have this SNL music exhibit, which is coming out and sounds awesome. Sounds really cool.
It does, yeah.
He wants you to take a summer drive and head to Cleveland and go to it and spend some time there. Then we had a great conversation with Kyle Dunnigan. Hey. Kyle's at Punchline Friday and Saturday. You can go to punchlinephilly.com to get those tickets. And I want to thank our 3 restaurants this morning, La Nona's, Cafe Carmela, and Ristorante Pesto, which we had Gianna Verallo, who came in and taught us how to say nonnas.
She was great, man.
Not nonas, not nanas. It's a mix of the two.
Yeah.
Nonnas. And she gave us a peek into the world of old school Italian cooking.
And she also, I think, authoritatively answered the question, sauce or gravy?
Sauce.
Straight
up. If you're from Italy, sauce. If you're in South Philly, gravy. But everywhere else in the world, it's sauce. So, yeah, she did clear that up a bit. Pierre's here.
I and my sisters have always said silver paper as opposed to aluminum foil.
Silver paper.
So just wanted to pass.
Is that something just within the family, or had that been?
No, I've never heard it outside. And I have 3 siblings, 2 sisters and brother. They're twins, my sisters, and older brother. They're both older. And we would say, can you get me the silver paper? Yeah. And I've always called it silver paper.
Huh. We still, well after it was aluminum foil, called it tin foil.
Tin foil.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's aluminum foil.
Correct.
Or if you're British, aluminium foil.
Yeah. God, I love how they say that.
Aluminium.
Aluminium.
And vitamin.
And it's also perfect for making a pyramid hat.
Yes.
As you
It'll
ride.
protect you from the cosmic rays.
Yeah, I mean,
for real.
As a kid,
Yeah,
you
man.
would take a sheet, push your face into it, and get your
do the mold.
The mold
of your face.
Yes.
I haven't done that in ages.
Or you could wrap it in a comb and make it kind of like a harmonica.
Yeah.
Which you could do. But there's nothing like the pyramid. And I encourage everyone to get aluminium. Aluminium.
If you can fit it into your schedule.
And after you get petrol, take the lift up to the aluminium factory.
In your lorry.
And get yourself some and make we need protection.
You do.
And this, you put a rainbow on it too, that'd be nice. Because I just came from Devo last week. And they're, what are they called again?
Energy domes.
Energy domes. I felt much better having worn some. And
it cost you $65.
Yes, it did.
That's right.
Well, I didn't, but it did.
Right.
Although I got Brent a T-shirt, which was about $40, but that's all right. He wanted a T-shirt, but this is important, so please do it today.
Okay.
All right.
Done and done.
We will heed
Great.
your advice.
Get the silver paper.
Get the silver
Make
paper.
your hat. Okay.
Smoke 'em if you got them.
How about we do the letter of the day? You ready?
Yes, please.
All right.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
So the Preston and Steve show is brought to you today by the letter
R as in robot.
All right, and we have 4 VIP admissions to Pig Dog Beach Bar, Maurice Pierce Amusement Rides, and Raging Waters Water Park on June 13th, plus a $40 Maurice Pierce gift card valid for food and beverage, and a limited edition of the official Eagles Autism Foundation Sunny Siegel, along with a commemorative Eagles Autism Foundation event poster. 2 days away from giving that away. What's happening on your show today?
On this lovely day, and you're right, it's lovely. Get out there. You kids run out of the building and get out and enjoy the day. A pair of tickets for Jackson Brown coming to Atlantic City, June 28th. Another Word at noon, which could win you $1,000. This is our last week, and possibly Emma Barbecue tickets. We've got a workforce block of The Doors and Weezer and Grateful Dead, and a fun afternoon to goof around in springtime.
Excellent. Thanks, Pierre. And I want to thank our sponsors. President Steve Show is brought to you today by Acme Markets, fresh foods, local flavors. Also, Duncan, and the Preston Steve Show runs on Duncan. And brought to you by Adam Home Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. AdamHomeservices.com. Tomorrow on our program, our good friend Tom Papa.
Yeah, he's the best.
Checking in with us. We'll talk sourdough bread, I'm sure. So that's it. We are done. Rage on. Have a great day, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Bye-bye.